on. I am Nando.
And I'm TJ.
And I'm Diggins. Get off of my pod!
This is mostly Nitpicking, a podcast where every week we pick apart a piece of pop culture by looking exclusively at the details. Woohoo!
Das Vidanya, comrade!
I was going to say, no Eastern European or whatever they were going for accents. Come on.
I thought that's what Diggins would do, because that's in his
accent of Palooza.
I thought that would be too obvious. I mean, you want me to?
You always say that. You always say, like, too obvious, but then it's like, you gotta do the too obvious thing, because...
What about William H. Macy impressions? Anybody got one of those?
Sir, I can't fly this thing!
You know what? Not bad.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah, he's pretty good. What else is he in? The Jurassic Park movie that nobody likes? So, you know.
It's in Fargo.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, Fargo. And I feel like he was on, like, something else I like.
That college bribery scandal.
He was in that? Damn.
Well, his wife was.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Felicity Huffman, but, like, I'm sure he was in on it. I mean, to some extent. Maybe he wasn't. Maybe he's a hands-off kind of guy when it comes to bribery and stuff. Never know. Oh, yeah, he was in Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
Okay.
Oh, he was the scientist guy.
Yeah, the one who, like, sucked or something, right? He was, like,
He was the traitor who was
yes.
like, I work with the monkeys now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what a champ. Well, speaking of Jurassic Parks that nobody likes, let's talk about the Super Bowl, you guys. Besides having trailers for Jurassic Park movie, nobody's gonna like, but maybe we'll like it. Right. It also had all kinds of stuff. So I don't know. Just overall, what are your guys' thoughts on the Super Bowl? Diggins,
First of all, Nando, I think we've got to congratulate our good friend DJ here.
Yep.
Newly minted multi-millionaire. He put it all on the Chiefs, just like he said. He said, put all your money on the Chiefs. It's such an obvious lock. There's no way they could ever lose. Of course, he must have done that. And now he's one of the richest people on planet Earth because of how much he won that bet that he put it all on the Chiefs, the team that was so utterly dominant. There's no way they could ever lose, especially not in any kind of embarrassing fashion.
Yeah, it must have been one of those things where, like, because I haven't seen you since the Super Bowl. I assume they sent you all those gold bars from the commercials for the gambling apps and shit that are always in the background and, like, pouring out of your phone in the slot machine.
Yeah, FanDuel hooked me up with that one.
Yeah.
I think I would like to say, by the way, I don't think I said all those things like that. I think I said, if you think that the NFL is rigged and that it's rigged for the Chiefs, why wouldn't you, like, jump on that? But I guess the refs didn't get the call for this one.
That very heavily implied that you felt that way.
I mean, I thought, man, we won't go over the whole stupid Super Bowl, but I thought we were in for it. There was, like, some nonsense pass interference called on the Eagles, like, real early, and it's like, the fix is in. The script writers decided it's Taylor and the 3-peat and let's go, baby. And I guess that's just what they didn't want to happen. A little bit of false hope there.
Well, I sincerely hope, listeners, that all of you listen to me instead of DJ, and you haven't entered the poorhouse because of DJ's spurious advice.
I will say that, you know, besides the fact that I was wrong, it was a very bad game. Unless you're an Eagles fan,
yeah,
which, you know, then good. Did you see there was a reel I saw of the Philly fans that, like, took out a light post?
I did see that. Yeah.
They've done that before.
But how?
Well,
is there a manual on it? Like,
I've seen it where, like, they have accidentally knocked over a thing they were all climbing on, but this felt like a team event where they all got together and beat up the traffic light.
Yeah,
I don't know how they did it.
That was impressive. So hats off to you, Philly. Hats off to Kendrick, who murdered Drake live on stage. Can't believe they let him do that. Can't believe they just, like, brought out a guillotine and chopped Drake's head off. Crazy that was allowed on television. Had Serena Williams just, like, dancing on his fucking grave. It was great. Yeah,
so what's the deal? They used to date or something?
Yeah,
Is that the rumor? Okay.
Yeah.
As much as I know who Drake did and did not date, that ends and begins at Millie Bobby Brown via text messages or whatever, and at courtside at games. Like, I have no idea what's up with his love life. I know he has a lot of secret kids, right, or something. That was, like, the first diss track.
He's got at least 2.
Yeah.
And he...
And one might be a secret. Or another
was
one
the
might
guy
be a
that-
secret.
Wasn't there another rap beef where someone else like exposed
Yeah.
his secret family? Was it? Oh,
Yeah,
man, I
the
wanna say Jay something.
previous rap beef that Drake had lost as hard as
Yeah.
anyone has ever lost was one where his secret son got revealed. Yes.
Yeah, okay. I knew it sounded familiar, but yeah, he had a bad time probably. Do you think he watched it? Didn't he watch the Super Bowl at all?
Do you think so?
No.
Apparently, he was in Australia during
Mhm.
this.
He had gone as far away from the
Mm.
Super Bowl as he physically could.
So, like,
what's the age of consent?
oh my god, I'm certain there were people with Drake, you know, while this happened. Did he tell them no one's allowed to watch? And then they all like, all right, cool. We just all gotta go to the bathroom all at once with our phones. And then like they watch. Like,
Yeah.
How did that go down?
I don't know,
I
because
think you
the
nailed
thing,
it.
the thing with the
Yeah.
Super Bowl is like even the commercials. I feel like every so often there would be like, and wait for the Drake halftime show, and they would play a little bit of the tune of "Not Like Us," and that would be enough if I was Drake to set me off. So I feel like you have to take everybody's phones away the whole time and be like, none of you can even be near it because it might just come on, and then he would could Hulk out. Well, not to spoil anything, but sometimes without even knowing it, you get triggered to Hulk out and kill everybody or whatever. So I think Drake would be a pretty shitty Hulk though, because he seems bad at stuff. He's bad at rapping, so why would he be a better Hulk? I mean, Bruce Banner's not a good rapper as far as we know.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do we
Who's
know
the
that?
best-
Like,
Have we ever
rapping
heard him
Hulk.
try?
I don't know. I feel like I would love it, especially Mark Ruffalo. I feel like Edward Norton would probably have. But who's the best rapper in the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
I mean, Anthony Mackie was in that 8 Mile movie, right?
Yeah, but he got destroyed. He's Clarence. Like, you can't, I mean, he technically can rap, but like, I don't know. It might be
Yeah,
one of
I
the
mean,
worst beatings in history.
I assume it's it has to be one of like the stars, right? Like a Dazzler or Luna Snow, right? Like one of
Oh,
them
yeah.
probably, right?
Were one of them to exist in the MCU, that would definitely immediately be the first one.
Oh,
feel
MCU.
like-
I'm sorry, best rapper. in
Yeah,
the
I'm thinking MCU just because we know who the actors are. Like, are there any actors that are musical? Like,
Did Sam Jackson
Daniel
ever?
Kaluuya was like in Into the Spider-Verse as the punk one. That was cool.
Can Haley Steinfeld rap?
Sure, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? She probably can. You know what?
Not
Everybody in
MCU
Hawkeye
still,
probably
but,
can.
You know, it's fine.
Well, what do you mean she's in the MCU? She's Hawkeye.
Yeah. Just because she's not doing anything in it
Oh,
right now
right.
doesn't mean she's not in it.
Totally forgot. No,
You
I
forgot that
legitimately
scene in the
forgot.
Marvels where what's her name takes the tablet and goes to her and like, you're on my tablet. Let's do a movie together in 8 years or something.
What
When we're
about
all
Ned?
We can do
30.
the Young Avengers once none of us are young anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? Ned can probably rap. Sure, I feel like that's like the youngest crew, right? You figure if
Yeah.
anybody could be one of them,
It'd be them, yeah.
but none of them. I wouldn't say. Well, you know what? Tom Holland could do that fucking dance in the rain and stuff on that show. He did Lip Sync Battle of Rihanna. I feel like he could figure it
Okay.
out.
Yeah.
I think Spider-Man rapping is a good idea. I think we should try. I don't know. They feel like they're all over the place on what that fourth movie's gonna be. Just have them rap. Rap opera like Hamilton, but Spider-Man. What can we lose?
Would you agree with the argument some have made that Spider-Man
Yes.
has a moral obligation to say the N-word?
Say all
Whoa,
slurs.
no.
He has to say every slur. Yeah, I 100% agree with that. And DJ, if you don't, you're the racist because
Oh, no.
yeah,
I
this
didn't want to
was
be
not
racist.
proposed. This was not proposed as you would expect by our new president or something as like a new end Spider-Man wokeness initiative. This is something else. But yeah, speaking of wokeness and stuff, what do you think of the trailers for all the movies they put in the Super Bowl?
Oh,
did they do
man.
any woke?
They were
remember.
almost kind of interesting. There's that Thunderbolts one. Wasn't that cool?
Yeah,
Wow.
they smushed everybody. Pretty good. That movie's probably gonna be pretty good compared to the other movies.
Is it? I don't know.
compared to
Yeah, we'll
compared
see.
to that How to Train Your Dragon movie, I think it can't be worse. That movie looks
That's,
horrible.
I'll give you that.
That's fair.
It makes
no,
me
it
so
just
unhappy.
looks like How to Train Your Dragon, right? Like it doesn't look bad.
Yeah, but like in a weird filter of like wrong. Like it's like it doesn't look right. Does it look right to you?
I wouldn't say it looks wrong. It's just How to Train Your Dragon, right?
But like Uncanny Valley How to Train Your Dragon, though, where like the dragons I think look fine. I don't have a problem with that. But like the kid in like that stupid Justin Bieber hair, like that doesn't make sense now. Nobody looks like that. Everybody looked like that back when they made the first one. But
I thought you were going to say everyone looked like that back in Viking times. They all look like
too.
They're Justin Bieber hair.
Maybe. Style comes and goes. You know, it's cyclical. I don't know. I think it looks quite bad. But I could be wrong. I mean, it might make $1 billion. Moana was bad, and then look what happened.
Yeah.
Moana 2, not Moana.
I just assume that if they just make the movie again, then it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I get it. It looks weird because
Yeah.
it's not animated, but like, it's fine. It's fine.
I guess the question, so that works pretty frequently for the Disney remakes, is How to Train Your Dragon that level of beloved?
Ooh, that's a good question. I thought
like,
so.
I like that movie. I think it's quite a good movie, the first How to Train Your Dragon.
I thought,
but I don't know that it's like Disney classic beloved.
that's tough.
I think it's as much of a Disney classic with kids as that's like, I think if you look at movies that came out in its class, because I don't think you can compare it to like Beauty and the Beast, but I think you can compare it to like a Moana in terms of being, I know that some kids like friends and family and stuff who are really into How to Train Your Dragon or were really into How to Train Your Dragon when those first ones were coming out. I think they broke 500 million worldwide, which I would say is probably what you need for this. Let's see. How much do you think the third How to Train Your Dragon movie made in money? Budget. No, not budget.
How much it made?
Yeah.
Like box office or like box office minus thing equals
Box
whatever.
office. They do box office worldwide.
350 mil.
Diggins?
I'm gonna go a little more. I'm trying to remember if did that one disappoint a little. I'm gonna say
Disappointed you because it was about genocide or something, right? Or ethnic cleansing.
No, that's the third
right.
one, right?
That's the
That's
third.
what
That's
we're
what I'm
talking
talking
about.
about.
Oh, sorry.
The third one.
I'm gonna say 200 million.
Well, you're both wrong. 520 million. I was pretty
I
worldwide.
should have gone in the
Yeah.
other direction.
Holy
were
moly.
Yeah, I don't know about the other one because I would even imagine maybe the second one probably made more because that did feel like a bigger hit. But no, it didn't actually. Oh no, yeah, 618. So they were always pretty steady in terms of overall box office. So yeah, I bet it'll be a big success. You know, it probably won't be a big success though. Lilo and Stitch. What do we think of that? They did a little bit where Stitch ran on the field and was like,
Oh, yeah.
whatever.
That
Yeah.
sure happened.
It did happen. I think people are going to watch that. Is it a good sign that it comes out really soon and we haven't seen any of it? I don't know.
It was a
about
great
that.
sign for Moana 2.
That's true. It was a good sign for Moana too. When does that come out? I do think it's like May or something like that, right?
Is it May? God damn.
It's way
May?
sooner. Yeah, May 2025. And for comparison, Thunderbolts comes out in May, and we've seen every second of that movie over the course of 8 trailers over the course of the last like 3 months. So I don't know why we haven't seen any of the Lilo and Stitch, but
Does it get pushed?
eh,
Like, could it get pushed?
what's the worst that could happen? You know, people love it. People
They'll
love
make
Lilo
$1
and
billion
Stitch.
like Moana
Yeah,
2.
they'll see it.
Well, yeah.
Now they're like, this is a good strategy because it worked.
Mm-hmm. Now, what was the other one? You said Thunderbolts. Oh, Mission Impossible. Tom Cruise dangling on stuff. We like that.
Oh, that's fun. I'm gonna have to go back and watch that first movie because I don't remember what the fuck happened. I don't know what the MacGuffin is.
What do you mean? You don't remember the MacGuffin? Do you really not remember the MacGuffin?
It's some kind of like, god damn it, computer thing that
They said the word maybe 1 billion times in the movie
I don't remember
of what they were after. Dickens, do you remember what the thing was that they were after?
I know what it is. I forget the name that you're talking about, but I know exactly what it is.
It was, yeah. I mean, it was a Wait, now I forgot what it was. I knew what it was.
Ha!
It was like the key turn access for a nuclear sub where the evil AI first like developed sentience because it can still be shut down from the like terminal access or whatever on that nuclear sub.
But there was a word that they used when they were talking about the AI that was like the device. It wasn't device. The entity? Was that it?
Ooh, that sounds familiar.
I think that
sounds right.
But yeah, they said it so much, and it was just like, remember when they were at the party, and then all the screens turned into little, equalizers and shit, and they were like, we're inside the entity right now. That was pretty good. Do you think they'll kill them all? You think they'll kill Ving Rhames finally?
You think the franchise will end with all life on Earth being extinguished?
Yeah.
That'd be fun. I honestly thought Ving Rhames was already dead. I was like, what's he doing here?
Yeah.
No, Luther's still okay.
Yeah, they barely ever kill characters in that franchise.
Right.
They did kill Rebecca Ferguson. Maybe.
Right, I remember that. Simon Pegg.
No, they didn't. Wait, did she die?
I thought so.
She dies in that movie, or supposedly dies, does not come back. Maybe she'll come back in this one, but the movie by the end was still treating her like she was dead.
Yeah. Well, the movie they shot the movie upstairs and they were tired of her bullshit. Just kidding. You ever heard that? She's scared of elevators.
Whoa, really?
She's like,
no.
Yeah, she'll take the stairs no matter what. She's very claustrophobic. So I've seen a lot of interviews with her where like, she's like, people go like, well, what do you do if somebody's in a building? And she's like, they come to me. I'm pretty famous. I just make them come downstairs.
All right.
I'm like, yeah, good for you.
Attitude.
What did she do before she was famous?
Yeah, right.
I guess she just didn't do those things. She would call you and be like, what floor? Anything but one? We'll have to reschedule. I'm actually busy that day.
Diggins, how dare you? She started famous. Very rude of you.
Is she a Nepo baby?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know. I do think she could maybe like scale a wall, like Tom Cruise in those Mission Impossible movies, the fourth one. Because that doesn't have anything to do with claustrophobia. That's fear of heights, and that might be a completely different one. But it's just about elevators and like, stuff like that. I mean, she's from what, like the Netherlands or something? What's the highest
Sweden.
building in the whole Netherlands? 5 feet, like 5 stories, 6 stories,
Well,
it's not a problem.
Whatever it is, it doesn't matter since she's from Sweden.
No, all right. Sweden highest building. How high do you think the highest building in Sweden is? If you had to guess. I'll give you a hint. There's 2, it seems like. Well, they have a Twin Towers, I guess. Not the same, but similar, I guess. And I will say it's not that tall. Like compared to American skyscrapers, nah, it's not. Like for instance, the World Trade Center 1. You guys remember how tall that is?
No idea.
We've talked about this on the podcast before.
The World Trade Center, it is now 0 stories tall.
He said was.
World Trade Center 1. World Trade Center 1 is what I called it. But it is 1,776 feet high because they did that. And that's the actual height of it.
No, that was the Freedom Tower. Is that right?
That's World Trade Center 1. That's what we call it, right? Is that not what you guys call it?
It's
you call Freedom Tower?
Yeah.
Oh, you were thinking I meant like Tower 1. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I meant that one. But
well, that I knew.
Yeah,
but didn't they fuck it up because the spire height makes it like different or something like that? Didn't they kind of fuck it up?
Yeah, there's a lot of rules about how people measure the actual height of a building and like whether spires count or not. I think without the spire it's not that, but with it is. But like the Guinness Book of World Records traditionally wouldn't count that or something. I don't know.
I see.
But and they're the famous authority.
Yeah.
Well, because you could just stick a big spire on a building and be like, haha.
Right?
Look how tall it is.
Easily make it. Yeah. And they probably should do that in Sweden because they're lacking. Because considering our highest one, 1,700, and like I don't even know if that's the highest building in the New York anymore because those fucking Central Park buildings are so tall. There's hideous buildings occupied by nothing. You know what I'm talking about? Ones that are all like little tax havens for, Honora and shit, like just pure oligarch money. The those seem like they could also be that tall. But the highest building in Sweden is called the Klaratornet. It is in Gothenburg and it is 800 feet tall.
Oh, wow.
Once you get off that, like their third highest building, 400 feet tall. also in Gothenburg. It's called the Citygate Outlets.
I think I got shit
It's
on
not
this.
that tall. Yeah.
So Rebecca Ferguson was doing fine before she left Sweden.
Yep. It was a mistake to leave. You had to
Yeah,
stay out of maybe
actually,
8
that's a good
buildings
point.
and you'd be good.
That's a good point.
But LA isn't that tall when you get down to it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you don't want
really-
to build anything too tall in California.
Right. Because of the volcanoes.
Godzilla.
Oh, yeah,
that's
too.
true.
And good for her. Either way, what were we saying? Oh yeah, she's dead. But I feel like she's not dead though. Isn't she kind of supposed to be in love with Tom Cruise or something?
Yeah.
Well, there was like, I don't know, there was a vibe there. It never went further than that.
Yeah. Do you think that's like because Tom Cruise doesn't want to be in love with people in the movies because it will change?
He can't
his
show
image
his
and stuff?
love.
Yeah, with The Rock and all that nonsense.
Possibly. But I mean, listen, she might come back. I'm not ruling out the possibility. I'm just saying by the end of that movie, Rebecca Ferguson was still dead.
Hmm.
Yeah, I do believe that is right.
What about the other ones? Who else was in those?
Simon
Besides
Pegg.
Benji, of course.
Right,
Yeah,
Benji.
he's pretty important. I want to say, what's her name? Haley Atwell. She was in the new one.
Yeah,
Oh,
she
yeah.
was
Somebody.
Forgot about that.
she was the new person. She was like a thief / magician who got wrapped up in everything.
I would say she was the new person, except in the trailer, it seems like Pom Clemente has already been inducted into the good guys team by the start of this movie. And
Well, she did help them by the at the
Right.
end of the last one.
Yeah. What do you think the end of this movie is going to be? Do you think Tom Cruise is going to have to fight a big thing in cyberspace, like a robot?
Oh, is he gonna Tron?
I don't know, but it's the entity, right? It can't just be a guy. I mean, maybe it is.
Right.
but-
Oh, he fights himself.
Ooh,
It was him the whole time.
Ooh.
he is the entity.
He is his greatest enemy or whatever. He is his greatest entity.
That'd be pretty
Mm.
cool. And do you think he'll win, or do you think it'll be like that movie Scott Pilgrim, where they'll just both be friends or some shit? and then-
Yeah, he goes out. It's like, we're both so handsome.
yeah.
Let's not fight.
Well, so somebody's going to come out of that fight, and we're never going to know if it was Tom Cruise or the
Yeah,
entity.
that's true.
That's
And that's like how it
true.
ends. That's like the big thing.
Classic, whatever
was
that
really-
movie was. Annihilation. That's what it was.
There
I
you
forgot
go.
about
Oh, yeah,
Annihilation.
yeah.
I was gonna say, has there ever been Mission Impossible Annihilation? That seems like the kind of name one of those movies would have by now. They
I
all
don't
have
believe
such
so.
bullshit names.
There was Rogue Nation.
There was Rogue
I like-
Nation, there was
yeah.
Fallout, and then the other one was Ghost Protocol, and I don't think the other ones had names, besides Dead Reckoning or whatever.
Yeah, no, the first three were just Mission Impossible, Mission Impossible 2, Mission Impossible 3.
Yeah. I feel like that third one, if you like title for it was like MI:I. Like they really
it
went
was,
all in on
yeah.
the I's and the 3 and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's a good one, the J.J. Abrams one. It's yeah. The only good movie ever made. And they stopped.
Wow.
Instead to do whatever it is he's been doing.
Well,
But
there was-
speaking of good movies,
There'd be no debate about what his best one was. Yeah.
yeah. It was just like one and done. And did he make Super 8? Somebody else makes Super 8.
Yeah, he was involved. I think he made Super 8. I think
so
that was
too.
his
Super
baby.
8's okay. Yeah. But before that, you guys, or wait, no, other thing. There was another one. For One, DJ's favorite thing. You
I love
Ones,
For One.
right?
Yeah.
What'd you
I
think of the
love For
trailer for One?
One.
Breakfast in the car.
I don't know. I'm trying to figure out how this movie will be exciting if I'm being honest, right? Because like I feel like the problem with For One is a lot of the like interesting drama is like the like background stuff that's happening with like the different racers and the teams and stuff like that. Like the racing is fun, but it somehow is only like a portion of it. Like, Lewis Hamilton going to Ferrari, like that was a huge story. This is Mercedes' old career, and now he's going to Ferrari very late in his career. And just like, how do you like capture that stuff in a movie? If that makes sense.
And do we know if this movie is going to be its own thing, or is it based on a real guy?
I legit have
Also,
no idea.
Me
I have
neither.
no idea. I also feel
mean,
like this was an idea. Sorry, Nando, that was conceived during the F1 hype, but said F1 hype has like diminished since. So I think that's
Right.
going to hurt this movie.
because Gran Turismo did it all. What's left besides crushing everybody like in that one scene in Ferrari, which they also did. So like, yeah, what are we gonna be like? Oh, is this one gonna crash too? It's probably gonna crash. You know, probably gonna flip around and shit. I mean, have you seen Ferrari DJ?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure Diggins said you had, right? With Adam Driver?
Yeah. I've read it. I've watched it.
The scene where that car smushes everybody is so good.
Yeah.
It's exciting as hell. Sad that it happened in real life, but insane.
Insane that they used to do races like that.
I know. And insane, I mean, still insane that they do races like that. I mean, this is true for all like rally races and like car races and like, I'm assuming this is true in America as well, but like where people just stand on the sidelines like a foot from the cars. They love that shit.
Depends on which sport. Like I know NASCAR for one has gotten like pretty good about putting like 17 barriers between the cars and the people. But it's, you know, it's too recent of a development. Like I feel like you even go back maybe like 10 years and it's like,
oh yeah. I mean, I feel like people have gotten hit by tires and stuff in NASCARs.
Yeah, like a nasty bounce or something. Yeah. Like
in that not Fast and Furious, like in the Final Destination movie. Probably didn't happen exactly like that, but some version of it. And then speaking of nets and stuff, speaking of the Super Bowl, remember when somebody kicked the field goal and it just went into the audience? I don't remember who this was. It might have been an extra point. So somebody was kicking a ball through the uprights and it totally cleared the nets.
They went
and
over
guys
the net.
got it. Yeah. And I was like, what? Didn't you guys plan for it to be as high as it is? But maybe not.
They're getting too good. These kickers are getting too good.
They are.
All the kickers are on foot steroids now. Their kicks are so powerful.
They are on foot steroids.
Did any other thoughts about the Super Bowl? Any weird commercials you guys liked or didn't like? I mean, there were like 3 that everyone hated. So
Seal, right? That was my favorite.
That was one of them.
Yeah, they crushed it with that. Jesus is back, and Bill Belichick and his girlfriend, right? I guess that's the other one.
That was a commercial? Oh man, nice.
Yeah, the Dunkin' Donuts, his girlfriend was in that one, which like
was?
Yeah, good for Bill Belichick. It's fucking good for him.
I mean, good for her. She's got to wait, what, maybe 6 years? She's in Boston, like
that old. He's like 70.
Yeah, but it's Boston, maybe. You know. How many donuts do you think he eats a day? It's
plus they have that Logan's Run rule up there.
Yeah.
Oh, they do? I didn't know that. Is that why it's called Logan Airport?
That's right. Yep. And the other thing, what was the other one? Oh, the one with the tongue. Remember the one with the tongue?
Oh,
yeah. The tongue got up and danced around because the guy put cold foam in his beer or something. Yeah, that was weird.
Oh, how about not a commercial? Did you guys see the protester during the halftime show?
I only saw it on the rewatch. I didn't catch it while it was happening.
Yeah, I think the cameras were pretty
nobody would be quiet at our
it.
thing.
Well,
but everybody was, you know what, it's this, to be fair to everybody at our party, they were all going, what song is this, to each other, because most of them have never heard a Kendrick Lamar song, which was funny to hear.
But that guy, he was one of the dancers who
yeah.
Do you ask for your paycheck after that, or do you just nah?
I would.
Yeah, you do that stunt, and then you'd be like, hey, pay me.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's probably union.
Yeah, and you could probably get paid by Kendrick, right? Like, or something. Like,
I
don't know how.
They're doing me dirty, man.
Yeah, like I don't know what Kendrick's deal is. I don't know if he's as pro-Palestine as our greatest rapper Macklemore, but he's probably up there in terms of supporting the cause. And if he is, then I feel like he'll probably cut you the per diem. I can't imagine he made more than like $300.
Oh no way! Yeah.
We'll all chip in if that's the case, I guess. But
I just appreciate that.
Very much money.
So apparently, security gets him, and they take him back, and then they arrest him, and they're like, "Wait, we have nothing to charge him with. He didn't actually do anything illegal.
Yeah,
he's credentialed.
He was allowed to be on the field. All of it was perfectly legal. We just didn't want him to do it.
Yep. Yeah. So
that's
it. You're free to go.
It's pretty good. Yeah, that was cool. I didn't catch it when we were watching it. Only the second time.
Yeah, no, the TV cameras I think were very deliberate. It was Fox too. You know, Fox is like, don't you dare.
Fox is black and white, and then one red thing, and then one blue thing. You know, I like that
was so weird.
What if it looked like if some things didn't have color? You know, That needs to find any commercial like that. I don't remember if it was this one, but I feel like they all start with like in these divided times or blah 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 blah. And
cars are still cool.
But you guys remember that one commercial where Tom Brady and Snoop Dogg yelled hate speech at each other?
Oh
that was
God.
pretty awesome. That's maybe the dumbest fucking commercial I've ever seen.
I didn't. To be clear, I did not watch the Super Bowl. I never do.
Tom Brady and Snoop Dogg yelled, hate speech at each other.
It was like that.
Tom Brady dropped a hard R.
No.
I would have loved that. I mean, I would have fucking loved that. He did wear a T-shirt awfully weird in this. What was that about? So many.
I don't know that and his stupid watch, his big yellow watch, like he's in
$800,000 watch. Dan.
I'm sure. But this commercial was for the Stand Up to Hate, the Foundation to Combat Anti-Semitism, famous anti-Semitism advocates, Snoop Dogg and Tom Brady, which I only point out because in our party, we were watching it, there's someone who at the end of it, and they said like Stand Up to Hate, paid for by the Foundation to Combat Anti-Semitism, and they just were like, couldn't get one Jewish person in this commercial? And I was like, yeah, that's true. But
I don't know. I guess they figured, you get Tom Brady, you get Snoop Dogg. That's a cross section of all of America who can agree to not be anti-Semitic.
And like, I don't know. That's a big ask for America to not immediately empathize with Snoop Dogg in that commercial and be like, yeah, I wish I could go to Tom Brady and be like, fuck you, you idiot. Like maybe anti-Semitism isn't, we don't need to drag it into this idea of hating Tom Brady. This is an American pastime outside of that one city where everybody gets slogans run and stuff. But
that's why they made that movie, Haiti for Brady. It's all about those old ladies who hated Tom Brady.
I thought you were going to say those Haitian ladies that came and tried to, I don't know, meet Tom Brady. There were probably a bunch of those movies that got made by the computer. Scriptotron 8000, Haiti for Brady, Haiti for Brady.
The hateful ape, but like hate is spelled like Haitian, I guess.
Braidful ape.
Ooh, yeah, that's good.
Yeah, any movie that has hate in the title can be done in Haiti as like a version of it, and that's pretty cool.
The hate you give to Tom Brady.
Oh, that's good too. Yeah. That's good
also,
too.
I feel like getting Snoop Dogg in this commercial was weird because Snoop Dogg used to be cool. Now he's weird now because he did inauguration stuff or something. So I don't know, man. They're really reaching with these celebrities. I feel like they could have just gotten two guys, off the street, and it would have been like, I get it, but
we get it. Hate bad.
Two. Yeah, like it would be like, I don't know, a slightly more bizarre version of that would be like Drake and Kendrick. It's like, no, one of them gets to hate the other one. You see,
yeah.
Although now that I think about it, isn't Drake Jewish? So actually, that would not fit with the rules of this as well.
I don't like that.
But yeah, we wouldn't like that. Yeah, I don't know. You think this is the worst Super Bowl of our lifetime?
The Broncos, Panthers
Seahawks.
one was quite awful.
Oh, Panthers? Yeah.
Yeah, that one was quite awful.
That one did stink. What about you, Diggins? Was this your favorite Super Bowl? Or least
what did
favorite?
you think of it?
I think it was better than the one of the Ravens.
Okay.
Versus
you got this.
The Bengals.
No.
Close-ish.
Yeah, close-ish. I mean, they were in a couple of Super Bowls, right? Was it always against the same team?
Well, the Ravens, the last one they were in was with the Niners, right?
That's what I was going to say. Yeah.
That was the famous blackout game.
Oh, yeah. I was wondering if did that happen? Was that like this where there was a Super Bowl rematch, or was that the only time they ever played?
If they did, it was like from forever ago or something like that.
Oh, okay.
It was like a recent one.
So you didn't like that one, Diggins? Because you hate Ray Lewis and all his weird bullshit?
Or did the blackout really ruin the game for you?
Both. It was both.
That's fair. And you hate wait, Colin Kaepernick wasn't on the team then, was he?
No, he was not.
Okay, yeah, he was.
Wait.
I don't know.
Actually, I think he was.
Yeah, so Diggins hates him. Interesting.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. Weird Super Bowl, national event. We don't really get these. This is the only one of these.
What about the World Series?
Yeah, but it's like so many games.
Yeah, it's
not
the one game of it all. Yeah.
Oh,
you're saying
party. Football is our only sport that's so dangerous that they can only do one finals.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Kind of. It's the only thing that is a monoculture like event anymore. It's a bummer, but also, I don't know. Culture ain't so great. I mean, look at what it was. It was a boring football game. Some commercials for Lilo and Stitch and Tom Brady and stuff. So.
Yeah, the American monoculture is not doing so hot to begin with.
No, not at all. Although they did have a commercial with Tim Robinson I quite liked. And
yes.
There's a version of it online that's even a little funnier. So that's and that's not a commercial. I don't know if you've seen this thing. It's not for his new movie. This is something else where it's like a Totino's commercial, I think, or something.
Yeah.
That's like a take on E.T. It's cute. But it got a chuckle out of me. So, speaking of things that got a chuckle out of me, speaking of, it probably did at some point. But yeah, speaking of things that the president flew in a jet for, did you see that? He flew over the Gulf of America, the new Gulf of America, which I just want to say it's the Gulf of America because otherwise this podcast will get taken off the air or something.
Yeah, no, we gotta
lose your privileges. But yeah, he did a little tour of the Gulf and was like, "This is it."
Cool.
Sure. Fun.
Why not?
Good for him.
Now I like looking at it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like just hearing about Air Force One this week made me go like, oh right. But there was cool Air Force One stuff back in the day, like this one movie Air Force One, which they named Air Force One, which was good. Because this is a snakes on a plane situation where I feel like the stupid title is perfect. No colons, no nothing. But yeah,
when you got a movie with a plane as like a major focus of it, you got to give it a nice direct title. Air Force One, snakes on a plane, all your claims, money plane.
Remember Me. You guys ever seen Remember Me?
No,
I don't remember Me.
It's that movie that's secretly 9/11 at the very end.
Oh no!
The one with Robert Pattinson.
Oh, you showed us the end of this once. I remember.
Oh yeah.
I love it so much. But yeah, I feel like this movie. What's crazy about this movie? It came out in 1997. Mm-hmm. It does not feel like that to me. It feels like a movie that came out in the heyday of Harrison Ford, like the 80s. Right.
There are things about this movie that feel extremely 90s to me.
Yeah, there's that for sure.
But there's 1992 and 1997, right? There's like...
Yeah.
I'd say this still feels pretty 97.
Okay.
Well, we'll see.
Con Air. That's another one.
Oh,
came out the same year.
Yep.
Incredible.
The people knew what they wanted.
We want plane. Give me plane.
Put a bad guy on the plane and a good guy on the plane. See what happens. And I think it sucks for this movie because overall, long term, I think I like Con Air more. Right? Con Air, I feel like has withstood the test of time. Perhaps.
I agree.
Except that 1 second of this movie that everyone remembers, and that bit's pretty fun. So we'll get to it, but yeah, Air Force One. Who's in charge of the IMDb summary this week?
Is it Diggins?
One of you two.
No, I was in charge of it last week.
Is it you, DJ?
Did I win?
It is DJ, yes.
Oh, I didn't
know how to summarize Babylon.
Whoops.
Oh, Babylon. You guys remember that movie?
Oh, yeah. Man.
Skunk.
I did not prepare for this. Whoops.
Well, DJ, preparing for it involves pulling up the IMDb page, so it's not going to take you too long.
Diggins, there is one other part. I have to introduce the IMDb B as in spelling bee game.
Yeah, I always come up with those off the top of the dome, don't you guys?
What are you talking about? They're all the true thing that it is.
Sorry. Yeah, no, what did I say?
And go, what is it? Oh, that's right. And then sometimes you change
it. Yeah,
so
DJ, that doesn't require any preparation either.
Well, I have to read, right? I have to read what the IMDb people told me. It's like, oh, yes, here it is. So it's the IMDb B as in spelling bee, where 2 of my esteemed colleagues here have to guess the summary for a movie. And you must be wondering, how do they get the summaries for these movies? And it's crazy, guys. It's crazy how they do it. It's all about rats. Yep, you heard me, rats. The good folks at IMDb get a bunch of rats together and they put them in a room, and you're like, wait, what? They have the rats write the summaries? No, that's silly. But what they do is they have the rats like go through a series of like mazes to try and get cheeses and stuff like that. They see how like smart the rats are, and then you basically the writers then pick a rat as like their rat to go through the maze, and then if your rat does the best, you get to write the summary. So, and it's done like decathlon style. So there's like rat pushing box, rat hurtling, rat.
Wait, in the maze? There's a maze where you also have to push a box?
There's also a maze. I'm sorry.
Yeah, like in a Zelda game.
The maze
that's true.
The maze is like part of the decathlon, right? So there's all different things.
Which event did it take the place of?
So
Javelin?
Yeah,
probably shooting.
No. Shooting in the decathlon?
I think
no way. No way. Decathlon's like old timey events, like shot put, and a lot of the decathlon events are like long jump, high jump, 200 meters, 500 meters. Like it's very boring.
Maze,
and then throwing the javelin, the discus, and then maze. That was the old one that they got rid of when they moved it to a different city that didn't have a maze. And they were like,
well, in the old times they put the Minotaur in there too.
Yeah,
so it's actually a really good spectator sport. They're like, are they going to get busted by the Minotaur? Don't know.
Did they put a little mouse in the middle of the maze with little horns and have it be the Minotaur?
Yeah.
Or like a cat with horns just over the maze, eating all the mice as they kind of go. Shouldn't let him do that. But
so anyway,
that's the fucking IMDb for you, man. They're bad people.
They're crazy. They're crazy.
Yeah.
So, so then if your mouse wins, you get to pick which movies you want to do. And then it's like the ones who get the better mice, they're typically doing better summaries because they got some good heads on their shoulders. But then some people pick the not so good mice and they're like, oh, I'm so tired, I don't know what to do. And the person who did IMDb Air Force One, it's not bad. Like, it's not wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I don't know. It's a weird summary. It like talks about some very specific things in the movie. But like, it's not bad. Like it's a decent summary. It's just kind of structured a little bit odd, but don't let me throw you off. Just go with your gut.
Okay.
All right. So who goes first? Nando, you get to pick.
I'm going to have Diggins go first. My excuse was going to be so that car alarm stops going in the background, but it already stopped. But anyway,
oh, good.
Diggins, you could go first.
I didn't hear it anyway.
That's technology for you.
I know, right?
Yeah.
So, when terrorists hijack Air Force One, the crew and passengers must rely on the one man who evades capture, President James Marshall. Meanwhile, back at the White House, the vice president must grapple with the big decisions about how to solve the crisis without the president.
Okay, Nando.
Okay, yeah, similar start, different ending. So when the team of terrorists takes over Air Force One, the president, James Marshall, hidden away, unaware the president is on the plane. James Marshall must use his stealth and advantage to stop the terrorists before they can release a guy from prison or some shit, some general. I don't know who this is supposed to be, but some guy, and
General
save all the passengers. Yeah, General. That's true. We heard these words a lot, but yeah, I don't know what General Radek's. What is he supposed to be? Is he Gaddafi? Like, what are we going for with him?
I don't know, just random post-Soviet dictator.
Right. So yeah, that whatever I said. How was that?
Oh, DJ's taking off the glasses. He's not looking too happy, folks. I don't know what to tell you.
I
have a
winner. Oh no.
I have a winner.
That's
And I guess it's my
Nando.
lack of poker face that is, probably giving too much away. And I wanted
I'm
so
just gonna
badly.
start the movie in the background. You guys go.
I feel like the jury was rigged because I'm like, well, Nando can't lose again.
Mm.
But
But-
Diggins got it. Diggins got
Yeah.
it. Diggins
What's
got
the-
it,
what-
and it's not even close. It's
What
not
is
even
it?
close.
It's because of the vice president stuff.
Yeah, and the way he phrased the first sentence, he's like right there. So,
Wow.
not terrorists, but it starts communist radicals led by Ivan Korshunov. Thank you. Hijack Air Force One with U.S. President James Marshall and his family on board. Meanwhile, Vice President Catherine Bennett negotiates from Washington, D.C., while Marshall fights to rescue the hostages on board.
Okay.
So, like, I'm sorry, Nando. Like, maybe
No,
I'll throw
yeah.
next week so you could just, like, have one. But, like, this is... How many weeks in a row is this?
Listen, when I
month.
play, I play to win.
Yeah. I try to avoid giving Glenn Close any attention whatsoever. So that strategy failed me.
What are you, the Academy?
Damn.
Look at how much she deserves it, considering her year of mostly nitpicking movies so far. I mean, she's okay in this, but
It's a great point.
listen,
Ooh, we can
there
have
are
a
movies
Glenn
she's good
Close.
in, right? There must be. What are they?
It's quick.
What's, like,
Someone
her-
find them.
What's her big Fatal Attraction? That's like a good
Okay.
movie.
Never seen it.
Hook. Hook's a good movie, and those 101 Dalmatians movies she made, I loved those as kids.
Oh, yeah.
Like I made
She
two of
is
them.
good in those. She is good in those.
Yeah, she calls them her poopies. I always thought that was weird. No, she's good in those Guardians of the Galaxy movie. That one of those she made.
Oh,
Remember that?
yeah. They could have
Yeah.
just put anyone in that
President or
role.
something. And they look what they did.
And they did. They did put
They
anyone in
gave it
that
to-
role.
They gave it to hot new star Glenn Close. She was in Hoodwinked and Hoodwinked 2.
Wow.
Way to go. We got to do those one of these days. Anyway, Diggins, as the winner, what did you think of Air Force One?
Air Force One is an old 90s political thriller. And I have some affection for these just because you go back and watch them now and everything they say about geopolitics is hilarious.
Yeah.
Of which this one is no exception, which I'm sure we will talk about. But they're usually, like, as far as like filmmaking and action are concerned, fairly competently made. And I think that's true of this one. I think this has like good moments of tension and like a back and forth. It's an absolutely absurd premise. And like everything that happens is dumb. But like I don't think it's trying to be smart, so I don't mind that. And Harrison Ford, this is before, he went to sleep. He's still being pretty, he's still putting in a performance. He's still having fun with it. So, is it an amazing movie? Not particularly. But as if you like old thrillers and like, fun action scenes and Gary Oldman being the silliest Russian communist you've ever seen in your life. I think it's a pretty fun movie. So I enjoyed it overall. What about you, Nando? What did you think?
I think this movie is also pretty good. I do think we kind of said this. I think it loses the fight against Con Air in terms of being the movie I remember from this period that's about a guy sneaking out a plane. But mostly because I didn't really like Gary Oldman in this, and comparing him to Cyrus the Virus is no contest.
John Malkovich.
Yeah, John Malkovich was so good in that other one. And there's no Steve Buscemi here. I feel like that's my one problem with this movie. Harrison Ford, I think, is doing great. He's doing what he does. The terrorists are fine. Like their acting is fine. The Glenn Close stuff and all the geopolitics stuff is kind of dumb and kind of boring, and I kind of just want to it's kind of like how Con Air keeps switching to John Cusack, but at least with John Cusack, he's doing Con Air stuff. It's almost like there's two movies going on in this one. But that being said, I think this movie's pretty fun. Harrison Ford is great. It he says those things that he says in it. You get pretty excited when he says that. Also, it just goes, There's a little bit of bullshit in the beginning, but besides that, it is like immediately there on Air Force One. So cannot not respect it for that. And this was, this is most of what I know. This and fucking Nelly, I feel like covered Air Force One for me in terms of like what I knew it from. It made it maybe third in terms of it being the actual president's plane. It's the movie, the song, and then the plane the president is on. So it's a pretty good, it's had a lot of staying power. DJ, what about you? What do you think of Air Force One?
I'm with you guys. It's like a fun movie. Like Harrison Ford's putting in work. It's a lot of good performances. I will say, I think this movie is so cute because like the geopolitics stuff, like that's whatever. But like the way they treat the presidency and there's just like reverence for everything. It's like so fucking cute. And it's like, oh, like one fucking scene when they're like, quick, call the attorney general with the Constitution and get it over here. It's like, that's adorable. That's like so sweet. Oh my gosh.
I whatever device we might be using today, I might have had something for it that was kind of about a scene where this is highlighted. But yeah, there's a real kind of like, if you work for the president, there's a sort of like honor and service to that. And it's like all of those people deserve respect. And it's like, isn't it fun when we used to think that?
Yeah, right. It's like, aw. This is like, even like his whole thing, it's like, we're America and we stand up to bullies. Wow. That's like, oh, Mr. President.
He does still have his stooges that are like, Mr. President, the Joint Chiefs are going to like that.
Oh, no. What are they going to put in the Washington Post? Like, oh my God, what are they going to put in the Washington Post?
What are they going to put in the Washington Post? Let's ask Jeff, what are they going to put in the Washington Post?
Guys who took Air Force One, pretty good guys.
Like, they had a lot of good points.
They're communists, so Jeff Bezos is like death penalty.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a good movie. It's all of the complaints. There's not complaints, but just like all of that other stuff where it's like, it's just like silly, like modern day bullshit. Like Kyle Kinane has this like bit in his like new special on Hulu that's like, we've just lost a whole genre movie of president being captured. Can't make that movie anymore. It's like the president's been captured. Oh, wow.
All right.
Cool.
Whoa,
so we're going to give him like an award or something?
Yeah, right? It's like that genre of movie is just gone. And like, I'm not putting this in that genre, but like, it's kind of tiptoeing on and it's like, well, happens. Hopefully the president's like Harrison Ford and can do something about it.
I think our brave president, who is not listening to this on like a little speaker or something, would definitely do something about this. The question is, how many of his direct children would the terrorists have to kill before he gets interested in actually, like if they start from oldest to youngest and they have to go through Eric and Don Jr., I feel like he might not even, bother to kill anybody. He might wait out and just be like, good, we're getting rid of them. But then when Baron or Ivanka comes up, we're moving. This is lighting a fire under his little belly. Also Melania not on the plane, so that takes care of that too.
Oh, God.
What are the odds?
And they're
very low.
Even if she is, they're not smooching because she's got her like big old hat blocking. It's like Heisman.
Kill him, terrorists. Do what you must. It's fine.
That would be the twist, is that they're actually Croatian terrorists hired by her.
Yeah. But now, wait a second. So I could remember this. Where are the terrorists from in this?
Kazakhstan.
I see Kazakhstan. Okay, it is Kazakhstan. Yeah.
But I think they're like ethnically Russian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They want the good old USSR back. Why'd that Berlin Wall have to go down in the first place? Huge problem. Huge problem.
Little did these terrorists know that it might be a longer term plan involving, cryptocurrency and stuff. Maybe the way to do it.
Well, what this movie got wrong is when the Russian ultranationalists started trying to put the empire back together, they wouldn't be communists.
Nope, that's true. That's a good point.
I guess we'll talk about it in the movie, but it's also fun that the Russian president is just like, yes, sir, Mr. U.S. President, whatever you want.
Yeah.
He's clearly like supposed to be Boris Yeltsin, and that's kind of true.
Oh, okay.
That's why I'm like, who's the other guy? Who's the Radic? But I don't know. This is the problem with me and not knowing stuff from before. I don't know. Obama, maybe? Because then, I didn't listen to the news. And to understand history, you got to like read books, and I got no time for that.
Yeah.
I got to watch all the history
We have
that's happening
Diggins.
today. When
Diggins can answer a lot of my historical questions that I have.
Yeah.
About this
I don't know if he was based on anyone specifically, but a lot of the post-Soviet states like fell into dictatorships and military control and everything. So one of those guys probably.
Sure.
Yeah. And
did
what happened to him happen to any of them? Because that'd be pretty
I
wild.
believe so, no.
No,
I don't think any joint American-Russian like special forces teams have ever arrested a head of state.
Yeah.
I don't think that's happened.
It's like
Not
Black
yet.
Ops style too. Well,
just you wait.
I was gonna say Nando's buying time to watch the movie to remind himself what happened in this movie. To be fair,
I've watched the first scene like 5 times and I cannot remember what is going on.
a lot.
The thing I just said.
There's a lot
Right,
at the beginning, and there's a lot at the end, and then in the middle, it's like smushed. It's like, okay, let's do some Air Force One.
But the joint Americans and Russians are arresting who?
That's General Radic.
Yeah.
That is General.
Yes.
Oh, he looks so different, but yeah, now you say it, it makes sense. Look at that. Good for him.
Well,
I think
hey,
that maybe. Yeah.
So you go.
No, I was gonna say the problem is we don't see him as much in the movie as I would like.
Yeah.
But you're
But
right.
I was gonna say,
General Radic.
as long as we're talking about what happens in the movie, I think maybe it's time for Nando's punishment.
All right, let's talk about it. So I have here, because we used to have, and we've had a lot of different things as the guy. That's the thing that does the discs and other implements and such. But this is something a little different. What I have here is the algorithm. It has been created. Yeah,
algorithm.
We couldn't get. Well, maybe later. Maybe if we really blow up. But for now, it's just algorithm, which is also not Al Gore. We can't get him either.
I was gonna say.
So it's in Futurama, but it's just a computer.
Futurama could get him.
He could get him, and he was on like every other episode. He was on 30 Rock too. He loves to. I mean, listen, that's what I would do, right? Like,
oh yeah,
I would just Jimmy Carter Mean House is very nice, but you fucking go on 30 Rock too if you can.
Well, you know why Al Gore was on Futurama so much?
Why?
No, I don't know why. One of the writers was his daughter.
Oh, get out!
Get the fuck out! Are you serious?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Cool. Good for
Nepo
them.
baby. Huge Nepo baby. That's crazy.
That is a huge Nepo baby. Yeah. Well. Anyway, we have an algorithm. It's just all it is it's a machine that I have here that is an interface to the computer. All you do is type on it. You clickety clack, and then it goes beep 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 boop, and then it comes up with the thing that that will be your what would be a wheel slice, but your interruption. So that's what we'll be using for this one. Are you guys ready to go?
Yeah, let's do it.
I would love that.
So this one's called the Book Club. My trouble with this episode genuinely is remembering how it starts. But I know that what's the main deal is going to be Joey's going to a book club that is mostly hosted by Michael because Joey wants to meet women. And Michael has the book club. And then it turns out it's got sexy ladies in it. And then Joey's like, awooga, I got to get me some of that.
I think exclusively sexy ladies when we see the full thing later. It's just sexy ladies and Michael.
Mm-hmm. And it's funny because Michael doesn't even really realize it, like Michael doesn't really try to sell it to Joey. And I don't think Michael wants Joey there personally, but it doesn't. I guess Michael has not cultivated this book club the same way that Joey would have eventually cultivated a sexy lady book club that would just be, a sex party eventually. He reads the books. Michael reads the books. He does have a crush in the book club, but yeah, that seems like just more of a crush. So that this is the book club. Another very sitcom-y episode. It gets into a silly little premise. We get some classic Joey shenanigans with the women. and then a little bit of fun for the other women, like the actual. What I mean is like the Joey girlfriend stuff. But then the women have a little bit of fun time too. And we get to see them bond because they hate each other. Well, not they hate each other. Dre Mateo seems to hate the landlady, which is fair because she's a landlord
being mean to her.
And
yes,
that, yeah,
she evil.
Exactly. TJ, what was your favorite part of this episode of the book club?
Oh man, my easily favorite part is when Joey goes, "Oh man, guys, I forgot. I don't know how to read." That was my favorite part.
That might have happened.
It's not,
he definitely did not read the book, but I don't think he says that. Yeah,
he read 4 pages of it.
Mm-hmm.
So some creative license, is
right.
warrants.
Yeah, you don't want us to get copyright strikes by the Joey show.
Would you believe me that I didn't watch this episode of Joey either? Would you guys
for the 5th time in a row, just stepping on that rake, huh?
Listen,
wait, fourth. This is only episode 4. Yeah,
this is only episode 4. Okay,
this is only episode 4. Yeah.
Maybe when I have to do a summary, I'll watch. Right? Maybe I'll watch.
I mean, it's a shame.
Well, DJ, you don't know if you have to do a summary before you have to watch the episode of Joey.
Well,
I know I might have to.
Going up against me, so he knows it's a safe bet. He doesn't have to.
I know if I'm the IMDb's man, I know I definitely don't have to, right? So
that's fair. Well,
there
you get to enjoy a summary of Joey. So yeah, this is all about this book club that Michael is hosting with hot ladies in it, and they are like supermodels. And Joey can't find
women
work
on TV.
Exactly. Yeah. And the bit with Joey is the two of them think he's attractive and date him. And but Joey's like, you should date that girl that you like in the book club, Michael. And Michael's like, I can't ask her out. That's against book club rules. And Joey's like, but you're in charge of the book club. And he's like, yes, I am. Oh, wait, I'll do that or whatever. It doesn't matter. The bit will be she is into Joey now. She's not into Michael because Joey is Joey. And, no woman can, deny his charm. So that screws up everything. And that's what Michael always worries about is Joey's going to take all the attention. And there's not going to be anything left for little old Michael. And then the women, I feel like,
I don't know about you guys. I've always worried about with my uncles that they're going to steal all my girlfriends. That's
why you make you set up a book club with like 8 different supermodels. Then it's like how many, eventually one of them's going to have to dislike him because he, ate a whole pizza or something in front of him. But I was wrong. There are some guys in the book club. There's at least one guy in the book club that is not Joey or Michael.
Oh yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah. And Joey's whole thing is the 2 women that he's both dating are friends, but neither of them knows he's dating the other one, but he has to sit next to them. But
I do have to say, they both think they're dating him exclusively, and I'm like, Joey, it's been a week. It's okay to not promise that the first week. I think they'd understand.
Yeah, especially like, I don't know, man. Joey doesn't seem like I don't know. He doesn't seem like he's in it for the long haul with all these. Like, I imagine Joey's not promising on date number 1 that he's going to be exclusive with these women. Like, he's not a Ross type who falls in love at the drop of a hat. He's Joey. He's casual. He's fun. Right. So I don't.
He hasn't been married 3 times like Ross.
Exactly. So yeah, I do feel like they're putting a little bit extra on him. Like I understand, it's probably not a great idea to do what he's doing, and this is why you don't, hook up with people at the book club. But yeah.
Although I have to say,
unreasonable.
If I went to a book club and they were like, all right, everybody, we're just going to go over the rules real quick. We have a book every week. We have this amount of discussion time. Also, you can't date each other. Not allowed. I'd be
Absolutely
like,
not.
what the hell happened to this book club?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'd also be like, who specifically is not supposed to date someone else in the book club because of rules? Like, who is the president cockblocking or whatever the opposite of that is with this rule? You know what I mean? Like, there must be some sort of fiat that's being put in place. And I'd love to know who it is. But it's a good... I feel like this episode is fun because it's incredibly predictable. And sometimes that's what you need from a sitcom. Like when it starts in the book club, you're like, oh, yeah, it's going to be full of sexy ladies. This episode also does have some Coolidge. We get the new joke. I don't think this joke has been made so far that Jennifer Coolidge really wants to have sex with Michael because she thinks he's a hot tamale.
He
Yeah.
thinks he's a tasty little piece of chicken or whatever the hell she
Yeah.
says.
Ew.
I mean, listen, Michael, you could do worse. You know, give it a try. I mean, Michael doesn't find this out in this episode, but and Joey seems to know
in the tag scene.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, but yeah, Joey seems to know it's probably for the best to keep Michael away from the agent character. But and then the girls, they fix the haircut of the other one. The landlady gets her hair done instead of what would you call her hair in the beginning of the show? Like a How to Train Your Dragon hiccup do whatever, but blonde. It's kind of very flat.
Not quite. It goes like a little above shoulder length.
I was gonna say, how does that come up again?
Well, but then, I mean, it was just what everybody was looking like back in the day. She gets like a different haircut. I don't even know how to describe this haircut, but it definitely wasn't.
Is this what a blowout is?
I don't think so. I think I think a blowout would give volume, but I don't think it would like structure the hair in the way that it is. It's like, yeah, it's like she's an 80s pop star, like a Madonna or something. It's sort of like heavily like hairsprayed and gelled, so it just like sticks out and like back. Oh, right. And I forgot the bit with her is that she had Dre DeMatteo is having a problem with her confidence and stuff. So the landlady's like, well, I have a friend who's famous and stuff, so you can do their hair, and then that'll be like a way to get your confidence back. But then that person takes whatever was in their hair out, and that is why the landlady's got to kind of to be nice and friendly and keep Dre DeMatteo from, I don't know, stabbing her. Be like, you can do my hair, but she's into it. She likes the hair, or at least, I don't know. She seems to at least be kind of interested in it. I don't know.
She like genuinely is like, oh, I love how this looks. And Joey's like, that's weird. And then that's how that scene ends.
Yeah. What I can't remember having seen it is, does that continue? And I've watched like a couple episodes, so I should know this, but I don't think it does.
She doesn't show up again in this episode. So I don't know. I only watch them one at a time.
Oh, well, yeah. Wait, she's not in episode 5 at all?
I haven't watched episode 5 yet.
Oh, okay. I was going to say like, oh no, she's back to the normal haircut in 5. It's a little bit different. It's honestly episode 5. It kind of looks like the Rachel, which is what I was expecting. But yeah, this is a very New Jersey haircut she gets. So yeah, DJ, that's episode 4, Joey in the book club.
Okay.
You know, I think it's like interesting.
Joey and Michael reconcile at the end, by the way. Michael was mad that all the sexy ladies want Joey, but Joey's like, you're smart and people respect that. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to look hot forever. And Michael's like, you're right. I feel better now.
Yep.
Okay.
And that's correct.
That is a lesson to take away, I suppose.
Although, to be fair, it's probably still looking pretty good these days, right?
Not LeBlanc? Yeah, I mean, he looks good for his age.
Yeah, so Michael's fucked. You know, if he's still living with Joey and Joey's like in his almost 60s and he still looks pretty much like Joey, Michael's got nothing. That is a doomsday scenario right there. Although Paulo Costanzo is the name of the actor that plays Michael. Looks about the same as he does in the show too. So neither of them have aged. Good for them. But yeah, so that's Joey. You want to talk about the movie Air Force One?
Yeah, probably, right.
All right, we could do a little bit of Air Force One. So like we were saying, the beginning of Air Force One is this thing. It's the joint, like we were saying, U.S. Russia, like SEAL team mission of like parachuting in and shooting guys with little laser sights from a sniper rifle or whatever, and taking
parachuting
parachuting. Yeah,
it's wild.
And taking this General Radek figure, from just watching this scene, like I did just now, it's really unclear what's going on. We know it's the Americans and the Russians working together now, but in the movie, that could easily be the bad guys capturing Harrison Ford or some other American president, because just a guy that's sleeping and all his guys get shot by all the other guys. I think it's a pretty bad cold open for this movie, honestly, because
that's fair.
I wouldn't say it's very rest of the movie isn't like this. Honestly, when I saw it, I don't know why this didn't make sense to me. I thought this was the actual journalist team getting kidnapped by the radical loyalists, because we never see what happened to them.
Oh, sure.
But
yeah, that's true.
because I was like that, but that maybe you put that in the movie.
Why would they have so much security though?
I don't know. Journalism, man, it's important.
Yeah,
democracy dies in darkness, Diggins.
That's what they tell me.
Or if one of the guys is, feels bad about the little cartoon, then it also dies. That was cool. Wasn't that cool? But yeah, this show. So this everything that's only 5 minutes, because then we go to like a little, I don't know, steak dinner or something hosted by the Russians. Yeah. Harrison Ford, the president, like we were saying, he is, we never get a sense for his politics, but this is as close as we get to some sort of like leadership, whatever. Besides just like the not negotiating with terrorists and being a real badass. And we do know he was like a fighter pilot at some point or whatever.
He was Nam.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because this is the 90s. Yeah. And he's like, how old do you think Harrison Ford is in this? Like 50 something, probably?
Yeah, like mid-50s.
He's a young president.
Yeah, honestly, what's the last president you think we have? Do you think Obama could do an Air Force One?
That's gonna be one of my questions. Is like, which president is this? Because the other thing is like, Obama's not this because Obama was a lawyer, right? Obama wasn't like a special forces guy. Not that Harrison Ford is, but whatever. He was in the military. Like who's is Eisenhower? Like who's the last president who's this?
By the time he was president, Eisenhower like had multiple heart attacks. He was not in shape anymore.
So like who is
Carter
this?
high school or Carter college quarterback? I don't know if that's like military experience.
I thought that was Ford was the college quarterback. Carter was in the Navy.
But he was in the Navy
as like a nuclear engineer.
Oh, well, that's probably it then.
He was a young president too. Yeah, maybe Carter. Maybe.
I sworn Jimmy Carter played football.
I know Ford was a college quarterback.
It seems like he played football for the Naval Academy or something. I don't know, but you're right. Ford was that, and it's more known for that.
But like no modern president's this. Like, go back as far as like could HW? How old was HW when he was president?
He was getting up in years, but I think you're discounting our super incredibly fit and handsome and muscular current president,
Elon Musk.
108 pounds. Well, yeah, that's true. We have a double president situation now, so that would make it even harder to get.
Yeah, with the ones like unbelievable physical fitness and the others incredibly big genius brain, they'd be unstoppable in an Air Force One scenario.
And like we were saying about the children, Elon has so many children, you could never capture them all, Yeah. They need their own Air Force too.
Even if you killed 3 or 4 of them, he'd be like, I have reserves.
Yeah. I've been impregnated 8 women on this plane so far. This is a net 5 children for me.
Did you kill my trans child? Did you do that?
Yeah. Specifically, which children? Terrorists?
Yeah.
I'm a horrible dad. But yeah, I do think, I don't know, maybe Mayor Pete could do this. He was in the army, right? A little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, or JD Vance also did some fucking contract work in Afghanistan. His was
he was a lawyer guy,
Palantir or something. Yeah, but
I don't think any of the lawyer guys can do it.
Also, I'm pretty sure if JD Vance ever found himself in any hostage situation, he would immediately join the hostage takers.
That's true. That's a good point. I also feel like if JD Vance was ever the president, if it was a scenario where like he ascends from vice president to president because of something truly tragic happening, I think he'd just pass and then just also leave. I don't think he would hang around. I don't think he really wants to do this. So yeah, I feel like what about Mitch? Do you think Mitch McConnell could take him? He's Senate Majority Leader, right? Or no, I guess we would need the
Speaker of the House is next.
Who is that? Mike something, right? That guy
Mike
with
Johnson,
the porn app that his son has on his phone.
That's right.
Then he'd know where his son was at all times. That's how they would send secret messages to each other.
And with all that pent up energy from not cranking it,
Yeah.
he'd be able to turn that loose on all these terrorists.
Oh my God. We'd be so, Radic would be so in jail, it wouldn't even be funny. He wouldn't even kind of get out. Who is our most, I mean, like we have had presidents that could do this, right? Like Teddy Roosevelt and like Andrew Jackson and stuff. This used to be what a lot of them
even
were.
like Grant probably could have done an Air Force One.
Sure. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
JFK probably. Well, JFK had a lot of health problems, but he put out an image that he could do it at Air Force One.
Yeah, that's true.
What about Truman? I think Truman could have done an Air Force One.
Truman was just like a politician. He didn't. I don't think he ever served in the military.
The only other one I'm thinking maybe is Johnston, just because he had that big giant dick. He could just get some guys with that. Yeah.
And the terrorists would be like, oh my God.
So Arnold Palmer too. Arnold Palmer could get out of
He's the original
Air Force
Arnold Palmer.
Yeah.
Arnold Palmer of the sky in Air Force One. But yeah, you know, there used to be movies like this where the president was like a cool guy. I feel like this used to be a fun thing too. Was like, what if Morgan Freeman was the president? Or like, what if Harrison Ford was the president?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And no, those aren't fun anymore. Unless you do Harrison Ford again, then that one's okay. But it's not like interesting. It's all just Bruce Greenwood or some shit. And it's just like, yeah, he's kind of like the president. But, you know, like, I don't think we're going to get a movie where like Tom Cruise is the president in the near future. Weird as that would be. But anyway.
But Nando, I think the thing is activating.
The algorithm?
The noise is that it's the algorithm is
beep, beep. Yeah.
Whoa, it's activating because of Harrison Ford's speech, which is incredibly pre-Iraq War.
Yeah, that's a great point. Oh man.
Yeah.
Much like when we did what movie was it where we were?
What was it?
Swordfish. When we did Swordfish.
Yeah.
And it's all like you gotta kill all the terrorists, and then the terrorists won't do things because they're all dead, and they'll know if they do things, then we'll kill everybody. Not just the terrorists, but the women and children too, like animals. And that's basic. Like it's treated as like this super brave, like unpopular but like necessary stance, where it's like this is the way we're going to get things done. His speech is essentially like, from now on, if anyone is mean, we're going to kill them. We're going to kill them so dead, you guys. All the terrorists and bad guys, they're going to die. They're going to die screaming. And we're not going to be nice about it anymore. We're going to be mean when we kill them.
Yeah. And it's because of like compassion, you know, because of the things he's seen on this trip, you know.
It's true. It's terrible.
You know, when a bad dictator does a bad thing, sometimes you just got to send somebody in to do a big murder on him, and then all the problems are solved forever.
Yes, exactly.
A lesson that we learned when appearing in this movie, at least by name, Saddam Hussein.
Yo,
something. It's just so. It's, you know, you watch things like this and you realize like that's how that all happened. That's how we got there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. This is like, did Bill Clinton have any of these? Because that's the era of president we're in.
Some of the like Yugoslavia breakup stuff, all the stuff in the Balkans, we did military intervention because of, you know, the genocide and stuff.
I was gonna say, and then there's Rwanda, which I feel like he's frequently like, hey, why didn't you do anything about that? And he's like, I didn't because I forgot, or whatever he says. I don't know what his answer is, but like part of me was like, is this supposed to be a reaction to that or something? Where it's like, imagine if we had a president who was brave enough to intervene. And yeah. I mean, it feels like this movie could also have been made in 2000, like, or in 2001, like as a, you know, kind of look at us, we're so brave America movie. But yeah, it's honestly, I feel like there's a little bit too much compassion from Harrison Ford's guy, and also it's not going to play well, with the different Joint Chiefs and stuff, like we said.
Yeah. If there's one thing that both the army and the American populace hate, it's cheap nationalism and tough talk. No one's ever liked that stuff.
It's pretty wild. Do you think like we would not like do think we would fall for this again, but do you think Harrison Ford is a more charismatic president in this moment than any of our presidents of our lifetime? Because he's such a movie star.
Not Obama, right?
Right? Obama, I think, could get away with this.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. And you know what? I'll even give it to Bush, maybe. The Junior, before 9/11. I feel like he was probably kind of popular, right? Or no, he was unpopular then. But afterwards, he's like, I feel like supposed to be like the one you can get a beer with. And that's what I feel like Harrison Ford is channeling here.
Right.
I believe that is a specific sentence people said all the time about him.
Yep. And
because that's the most important trait in a leader.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this guy, he drinks beer, he watches football on Air Force One, he smooches his wife. He's just a guy.
And she doesn't even have a big giant hat to protect herself.
I know.
She's just got to take the smooch.
She goes in for the smooch. She's all about the smooch.
Yeah. I mean, wouldn't you, DJ? Look at this President Harrison Ford. Oh, my God.
Yeah. I'd smooch him all day.
Oh, yeah. He's a very, I feel like it's interesting because this is like how young, like this is how old I was when I kind of learned who Harrison Ford was, right? Like when this came out, I was, I think 8. And this is when Indiana Jones was probably like first on my radar. This has always been my default age for him, even though Indiana Jones and stuff was younger, and like even like Star Wars. But so yeah, this doesn't even read a slightly older Harrison Ford for me. It's just like base Harrison Ford. When was your first Harrison Ford movie, you guys? Was it Star Wars, probably?
Yeah, it's Star Wars, yeah.
It's either Star Wars or Indiana Jones, one of the two. Yeah,
it's so iconic. I mean, you guys didn't see like I feel like he had another one right around this time that was also like a humongous hit that everyone on Earth saw. And I'm not saying this is a humongous hit either. I don't know how well this did. I'm assuming it was a pretty big hit, but I
think it was a modest hit. Like it didn't set the world on fire, but it did well.
Yeah. Oh, I guess you know what, the 50th or the third Indiana Jones movie came out kind of around this, right?
Really?
Last Crusade. Last Crusade is 89. Never mind.
I was gonna say, I thought that was still the 80s.
Yeah, you know what though? His 90s are insane. So you start in the 90s. Patriot Games is 92. I remember that was a pretty big hit. The Fugitive is 93. Maybe his best movie, or like one of his, definitely one of his best. Clear and Present Danger. And this is the Jack Ryan, the Patriot Games Clear and Present Danger streak. And then a movie called Sabrina. Don't know what that is. That looks kind of fun. Air Force 197. And then, that's pretty much it. But those are some, I don't know. Do you think, was this a movie for dads?
Ooh, I can see that.
All the rest of those were.
Yeah, this is a dad movie. This is definitely a dad movie.
Yeah. So what do you think, DJ? Does that change your opinion of it? Is it your favorite?
I don't think so, because like it is for dads, but like I think it's for like a 90s dad. Different dad vibes, Like now, like today's for granddads, right? That's who it's for now.
I don't know. I mean, if it came out today, who would be our president? Who's like a 50-year-old action star?
Oh my gosh!
Besides like Tom
50-year-old
Cruise,
action stars.
Michael
I don't
B.
know.
Jordan. No, he's not 50.
Yeah, okay. I hope not. He better not be 50. Otherwise, we're in some real trouble. I can't think of any. But I don't know, like Robert Downey Jr. maybe. Yeah,
he doesn't have president energy.
He's not like an action star. Gerard Butler, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not
If
bad.
Gerard Butler made this movie, it would be for dads. Like, but I still think, I don't think it would be aimed at you. I think you're right. I feel like this is
cool dads.
This is older
How
dads
dare
than
you.
Yeah, I feel like this is dads the age of Harrison Ford in this, which is like 10-year-old daughter, right? Or how old do we think she is?
She's 12, they say it.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So maybe in a little while you'll love this as much as you're supposed to. But speaking of the movie, it was directed by the guy who directed this, Wolfgang Peterson, which I didn't look this up until now. Besides a bunch of other movies like Das Boot and apparently that was like a whole bunch of things too, miniseries, whatever. He directed The Neverending Story. Yeah, Troy, The Perfect Storm, and the Poseidon Adventure remake. So, and Outbreak, a movie that remember that week when we all had to watch Contagion and Outbreak? That was fun.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna have to watch them again probably. So everybody come ready.
Probably.
All about it.
Chickens already are.
The raw milk is when it hits, it hits. But yeah, this Harrison Ford guy, man, he's pretty cool. So yeah, I like.
Sure
you know what I like about this movie? They go on Air Force One, and then the press secretary gives us a little tour. I love it when they do that. You know, and she gives a tour to a man who every time I see him, I go, "Oh, Sam Rockwell," and then it's not Sam Rockwell. It's Gary Oldman. Such a bummer. Couldn't be more bummed. But
sorry, Nando, I don't think Sam Rockwell was working then.
If he was, it was probably as like a cool young guy, you know. He wouldn't even get this role.
He could be the president now.
Yeah, he was Bush in that Vice movie or Veep or whatever the fuck it was called. So
there we go. He could do Air Force One.
Hey, I mean, if he did Air Force One, it would be pretty cool. I mean, it better not. Well, I mean, we all saw Argyle, so it's not always a hit, but under the right guidance, it could work. Wow, do you know how old Eric Moss Bacharach is? I just opened IMDb and it gave me this.
25.
Oh wait, never mind. That's not how old he is. That's his number on the star meter. This didn't make sense to me, and now I'm correct to think that. He was born in 1977, so he's probably like, I don't know, 40-ish. You know, he looks that. But when you open up IMDb and it gives you just his star meter, most popular celebrities, it just says 30 next to his name. And I'm like, he's 30 today? Wow.
Wow.
But also looks awful. Like something's wrong. But it's actually that instead.
Have you ever seen a terrible looking 30-year-old?
I mean, like,
every time I look in the mirror.
Aww.
But also I see him in stuff and I'm like, you were in stuff when I was much young. How are you younger than me? It didn't make sense. And that's why. I should have noticed when next to him was Vanessa Kirby, who according to this is 1 year old. So that's probably a sign that that's how this was working, wasn't it? Just a little baby Vanessa
Somebody
Kirby.
Keep her away from Drake.
Oh, she's she's pretty cool. She's not in this though. Gary Oldman's in this, and
sure is.
You know, he gets a little tour of the plane and stuff. He's doing the Russian thing. I don't know, man. Is Gary Oldman? What do we think of him in this?
Yeah, fine.
Not in life. In life, he's kind of a weirdo, right, or something. He's kind
of a piece of shit in life.
Yeah, he's got some skeletons, but in this, yeah, I think he's okay in this. I didn't love him, didn't hate him.
He's very fine. He's
exactly
very fine.
I think he's having some fun with it. You know, he's being ridiculous. I don't think it's like the most like over the top ridiculous fake Russian performance ever.
Quick, name it.
Oh,
Tim Curry in that video game.
I was gonna say, wait, what's the one? Isn't there one of them in the It's one of the Nick Cage movies have a really weird Russian guy in it. I can't remember which one.
Which one?
I don't know. Now I'm like smushing them all together, and I can't get Con Air on my head, but it's obviously not Con Air. I feel like there's some pretty horrible Russian. I mean, especially this era was so many shitty Russian accents.
Yeah. Oh,
and like I think that's why he doesn't stand out to me too. What was what's his name doing in the in the third Die Hard movie? Was Simon pretending to be Russian for a while, or was he always the thing that he was? Like British.
I do not remember.
Yeah, I also do not remember.
I don't know. Well, you know what? I'm gonna Google it. Worst Russian accents in movies. Figure it out. There's a lot of. Oh, I was wrong. Okay. I was wrong, but I was right. First of all, Iron Man 2. That's a good one. That is, although that is classified really here as relatively good. So I guess they, also Gary Oldman's on this list and relatively good as well. I was not wrong to think about Air Force One or Con Air, excuse me, because John Malkovich, while not Russian in Con Air, is Russian in Rounders, where he plays the evil poker guy, and his accent is horrible. Have you ever seen Rounders?
No. I have not.
Oh, it's bad. And I will share this in the chat just so you can see it for a second. Doesn't matter which second you see, but this was the one that stood out to me. But anyway, so Gary Oldman is going to do the plane thing. We know it's Gary Oldman. He's bad, but he did pass the security check, and there's all kinds of security bullshit. So
do we know? Oh yeah. Click. That's the algorithm, right?
Sure. Yeah, in that order.
Why not?
So he goes and he gives a thumbprint, and it's it's him. We never learn how he hacked the biometric security of Air Force One, right?
Well, it's implied.
Yeah, the guy on the inside, right?
Yeah.
I imagine.
But again, how did he get Gary Oldman's fingerprint to be yep, that's okay, right? That. I get there was a guy on the inside.
.exe or something and took the file out of his thumb drive and put it in there.
I mean presumably he's in charge of security measures, right? He's a Secret Serviceman.
Okay, I don't know how you make that happen, right?
Spy stuff.
Yeah.
This movie does very little explaining, by the way, which I guess is fine, but there's a lot of action, very little explaining.
I mean, I think I would have been more annoyed with it if he didn't have the connection and we were just he hacked his way on. I'd be like, that's stupid. I don't think I'd be as angry, but I don't think I'd care. But that's how I feel that's usually set in these, especially if he is working for because if he's Hans Gruber and he's doing this for himself, then that's a different story because he has to own the hacker. But if he's doing this for a force in a government somewhere, you're he's probably got some hackers that could hack stuff. So that wouldn't even be that far-fetched here. But in reality, it's probably, just that guy put his name on the list he's at a club or something, his buddy's the announcer.
Fingerprint good.
Yeah. Speaking of that, so he gets on the plane. He brings all his guys, and let me just type something into the thing. Tick, 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 tick. Beep, 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 boop, boop, boop. Did you? Well, I guess we'll say the thing. But did you recognize any of his guys? Did any of them stand out to you immediately as really specific guys?
Not for me, but I feel I'm missing something.
I know these are all Russian actors who have played a lot of Russian goons and bad guys in lots of other movies, but I didn't specifically think of any now.
Well, much like Joey, the worst villain of all is the landlord. And the guy who is kind of the second in command, I would say, is an actor named Elia Baskin. And he is Mr. Ditkovich in the Spider-Man movies. This is Spider-Man's landlord who's give me rent, Peter. I need rent for money or whatever.
Okay.
So this was him cool. Starting out on villainy before he went up to the truly evil roles.
And I love that for him. I'm happy. I was really happy to see him. He looks exactly the same. I mean, not just the movies came out within a year of each other or something.
I was going to say, there's not that much distance. Yeah.
But also just they didn't dress him up at all for either of those roles. It seems like he just rolls out of bed and, goes to work. And he's great. But let's talk about the other people on this plane. So we have, like you said, William H. Macy, some sort of general or something. I don't know. He's got a military uniform on. I don't know if he's I don't know. What do we think he is? Is it important?
He's some military guy. I think he's some
Joint Chief Staff man. Yeah, whatever.
So we have the Chief of Staff is on the plane also. That's the Shepherd guy. I think he gets shot first, maybe. I don't. No. The guy that gets shot first is the guy who's a little pinhead. I forgot about
the
him.
NSA advisor.
Yeah, that guy sucks.
Yeah.
So you got those characters. Now there is the press secretary. There's his wife, obviously, Grace. I feel like there's another person on this plane that's important. Who is it? That might be it, honestly.
So you said the Secret Service guy. You said the chief of staff. The press lady who shows them around.
Yep.
The pilot.
The pilots, yeah. Yeah, I guess that's really it. I'm looking at the list now, and there's not too many more of them. I mean, there's other people that we'll meet on the ground, but yeah. And that's fine, because it's a pretty small group. I mean, I think they said at one point, what is it, like 60 people or something like that on the plane?
50.
50, yeah. Does that seem like a lot?
Oh,
Air Force One's a big plane.
It is pretty big, right? Yeah. It's pretty cool. But yeah, so we do the little tour, and everybody's like, look at all these guys on the plane. And like we're saying, the president, he's got to do all kinds of business. He's got to talk to his wife. He's got to talk to his daughter. What do you think of the conversation he has with his daughter? I think that was kind of interesting.
Did you? I don't know. It didn't do it for me.
I liked how she was like, why didn't you take me to the concentration camps or
yeah, like very odd.
Or president stuff. But this kid doesn't really do anything in this movie, which I think is kind of interesting. Like, she has a little bit at the end, but she's not like a plucky little kid who gets a moment to shoot a terrorist or something.
Yeah, right.
Also, I don't know. I feel like in a modern version of this, you would expect that like he would have a bad relationship with his wife and child.
Yeah.
And like being cool president action who saves them is like sort of like fixes their relationship. But no, they're all good from moment one.
He's just cool president dad. That's what he is.
Yeah, this is one of those movies where like he has no arc besides just has to kill those guys. And over the course of the movie, he kills enough of the guys to be done. And then it's all good. But like he's so brave and selfless and stuff.
He's so brave as he kills those guys.
He kills so many of those guys. I mean, we'll talk about it, but yeah, this movie, I'd be pretty impressed if I were him and I killed one of those guys. After you kill the first one, you gotta be like, I guess I can kill all of them now, because all I had to do was this. But
these guys all suck.
I really do. And he's the quietest man that ever lived, I assume, somehow. Considering how close he gets to them all.
We see him like run pell-mell across hallways and nobody hears a thing.
And like, it's a plane, I guess, so it's loud, but like, man, these guys are like looking for guys and they still can't even hear the little church mouse that is president whatever.
Maybe because he's the president, he has like the Wakandan shoes that like make it so you can't hear or whatever.
Yeah, they needed that.
Yeah.
In the and he's, the whole plan to take over Air Force One, like we were saying, is pretty simple. It's just have one guy that's already in Air Force One with all the guns, have him kill all his own guys. Then he flicks a switch or something. Then you go, oh, okay. And they get up, all the bad guys get up and take their guns and go and, get ready to storm everything. What'd you think of this scene with all the storming of stuff and whatever?
Cool. It's fine.
Yeah, I mean, it's chaotic and like kind of tense, and you're like, oh no, the terrorists. It's a good scene.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's a crazy because I think this movie, it's 2 hours long, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And half hour and the plane just fully lands. Like, it doesn't, because it keeps going after that. But by the time I'm like, if this plane is landed, I think they're done. Like, but
should have landed that plane.
They should have landed it.
Well, they tried.
They tried so hard.
Not hard enough.
But in the end, it didn't even matter.
Mr. Ditkovich, he's got good plane flying skills, and he corrects everything. Nothing like this has ever happened, right? We've never had an Air Force One. You think they have a plan for it, though? Yeah, they must.
I'm sure.
If nothing else, after this movie came out, they drew up a plan.
Yeah,
for it.
That's my thing.
I mean, the government helped make this movie.
Oh yeah, they did. Yes, they're actually unusually cooperative.
I guess a president has no flaws and stuff, and Russia bad. So that's usually all you need. Especially in the 90s. Oh my God. That was You could have as many tanks,
Well,
whatever
Russian
you wanted.
communists bad,
Right,
but Russian
true.
current government good.
That's a good point. Yeah. I do want to point out a couple people get shot in this movie. Like in this scene, there's guys like running around with guns shooting guys. Not a lot of attention paid, and never really to the whole "don't shoot stuff in the plane" thing. You know, did you expect that to be a thing at some point?
They do say that when the press secretary lady is giving them a tour, she says the cabin is bullet resistant.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Which I think is them trying to be like, this is why there's no decompression.
Yes, but that's a lot of bullets.
Yeah,
they're popping off a lot of bullets.
Look, I'm not saying it would hold up to scientific scrutiny. I'm just saying there's a line in the movie to sort of hand wave it.
Sure.
And then there's a big bit where they almost land it, and then they don't land it. They kill the brave, heroic pilots. It's nice. And we're told by the press secretary that you could launch a war from Air Force One. It's the most sophisticated thing on the whole planet. It's insane.
Communication system.
Yeah, you can fuck everything up. They don't really use it for that, but you could. I think mostly you just use it as a phone to call the guys on the ground.
Nando, they respect the office.
Yeah, that's nice. Come on.
And very early on, like somebody comes up to the vice president and is like, we changed all the nuclear codes
so
they can't do anything. And you're like, that never even came up before, and it's not going to come up again.
Well, he does yell, the football!
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of football stuff. I forgot about that. Nothing happens, right? They don't use it for anything.
He just yells, the football!
Is there. But yeah, so there's a big thing. Everybody's rustling around and stuff. And what happens to President, whatever his name is, Major or whatever his last name is?
Well,
Marshall.
His bodyguards hurry him off to the presidential escape pod on Air Force One, so that he can get away. That they get shot getting him there, but they get him there and close the door, and you're like, hooray, the president escaped.
Now, is this a thing? Do we know if this is a real thing?
It's not real.
They should make one.
Well, actually, after watching the movie, Bill Clinton was like, "Can we get one of those?" and the military was like, "It's like incredibly impractical."
Yeah, it's fair. It is pretty impractical to have a little mini thingy, like a little lander in your plane.
Was Bill Clinton worried this was going to happen?
I think he just thought it'd be cool.
Oh, sure.
And like the thing is, like, for what can go wrong on a plane, like the use cases for a thing like this are very, very small. Like most things that go wrong on a plane will go wrong right away.
Right. That's fair.
Yeah.
The what was I going to say? So Gary Oldman and Mr. Dikovich take control of the plane, fly it back into the air. They're always, for most of the movie, surrounded by F-15 or whatever they are, some fighter jets or something. So that's fun. And this is when we get our first look at the only other main character of the movie of note. This is Vice President Catherine Bennett, played by the incomparable Glenn Close.
Wait, Nando, did you say real, Madam Vice President?
Oh, I guess you're right. Yeah. This is one of those fantasy movies where something, they had to imagine a thing. It was that. It's interesting.
They're like, what could we do? It's like, oh, I got an idea. We'll have a woman. She can be vice president.
That's crazy, DJ. We could never do a thing like that.
Yeah. And she's, she's fine. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think she's fine.
She's okay.
Well, what's funny is in this movie, there was supposed to be, like, it's in the script and everything, a scene where she just like breaks down crying and she's like, oh no, my womanly sensibilities cannot handle. I mean, she doesn't say this, but that's the implication.
Yeah, it's the implication.
But Glenn Close was like, no, I'm not going to do that.
Oh, good for her. Good for Glenn Close. Too bad she didn't get the Oscar.
No, they should have given her the Oscar for this. That would have been really funny. By the way, I just looked this up, where she was born. Take a guess. Take a wild guess. Where's she from?
Oh, gosh. Nebraska.
Diggins?
Montana.
Connecticut.
Huh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Now I can see it though. She's got a Connecticut vibe to her. And you know what? I'd say she's got a presidential vibe to her. I don't know if she's ever played a president since. Obviously, she played Nova Prime, who's in charge of
like
the
a president.
space police or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. In Guardians of the Galaxy and the Guardians of the Galaxy roller coaster in Epcot.
That's right.
That's
but not
true.
in What If, the episode that did that. They couldn't get a rec for that. I'm looking at the rest of her like stuff. I haven't seen the Warcraft movie. I'm gonna guess Elodie is probably a pretty important orc or whatever. But
she's just a cameo in that.
Oh, okay. Is this as high as she gets? I guess is my question. Or is space stuff higher than this?
I mean, Nando, you would know, I think, better than
I don't know,
DJ or
yeah.
That's
I
true.
how high Nova president is.
That's a good question. Oh, you know what else she was in? She was the Blue Fairy in Pinocchio. None of the recent ones, one of the older ones. One of the terrifying ones, in fact. The one with Roberto Benigni in it. Roberto
the one where he plays
villain of the
Pinocchio.
podcast. Yeah, Johnny Stecchino, villain of the podcast. We'll never ever do. But yeah, I would say maybe that's as high as you get in terms of things. I guess she was First Lady in Mars Attacks, which not saying that's the same, but just interesting. You know, this was not her first president time. Also, she was the voice of Mary Todd Lincoln in some Lincoln movie, and that's something. Yeah,
That's cool.
she's been around for a while. I feel like if you're like her, where you like look smart, you could probably get president or vice president in some movie.
That's all you need to
know.
do. You just look
Yeah.
smart. That's it.
And like, you know, I don't know what's her vibe. She's got like an air about her, you know. She's got a confidence and stuff, a grace maybe is what you would call it. That I think works in here and maybe not in Hillbilly Elegy, but you know, definitely here, where she was, you know, vice president's mom in that, so it's all come full circle.
There we go.
But yeah, so her whole deal is she doesn't want to fire the president, and everybody around her wants to fire the president over the course of
Fire
the
him.
movie. Just
Fucking
25th
fire him.
Amendment him, and you know, if I didn't know what that was 2 years ago or whatever, God, do I, or not 2 years ago, I guess like 6 years ago, I know what it is now. It keeps coming up. So, you know, it's honestly, I'm surprised we haven't done it yet. Feels like something
We have done it.
Right. I guess I mean like in our lifetime, like recently we haven't. We haven't done it. When?
It's never been used in like an actual like really bad situation. Basically, when presidents go under for surgery,
Right.
they do
Yeah.
it, just to be like, while I'm out, the vice president is doing stuff. It's never been
Right.
used in like an emergency.
Yeah. There were some times where they talk about it on CNN a lot, though. I feel like we got close. And
I think what's so. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Nando.
no, that's it.
I was just gonna say, I think what's so strange about like in this movie is that the vice president and the secretary of defense have like a for real argument of like who's in charge. It's like,
Yep.
guys, come on, we know who's in charge. It's the vice president, right?
Well, it's
But now
the
they
tech
gotta-
billionaire, but whoever's below him.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
Like the sentence, call the attorney general and get a copy of the Constitution. I was like, that's so
Mhm.
fucking funny. That is
Yeah.
crazy. What are we doing?
What would this be in the Biden White House? This is Kamala going up against. I can't even tell who that would be. Some fucking
General
guy.
Austin something.
Yeah. They probably would have done that, though. They probably would fight. What was I thinking? Oh, 25th Amendment. Okay. They treat the 25th Amendment in this movie like if he gets 25th Amendmented, he doesn't get to be president again. Is that how it works?
No, he does.
Right? So why don't you just 25th Amendment him? Is there a case against
Yeah.
it?
This whole plot line is like actually very silly because the 25th Amendment thing is just like until the president is fit again, you're in
Right.
charge temporarily. And as soon as he's back and he's like, I'm fit, and everyone agrees, then he just is president again. It's not a big deal.
Yeah. You don't want a president who's held hostage, I think. Like, I think that the guys that are like, let's make him not president, that's a pretty strong case. because then he could just fuck everything up. But luckily, he's a great guy who would never do that, so we didn't have to worry about it. And this gets to be Glenn Close's whole thing. But yeah, we will learn that Gary. Oh yeah.
I just don't see how it would materially change the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well, I guess. So when they eventually release Raddick, before he actually gets out, but like when he's, they're giving him his like a hat back and everything. Who does that? Our president calls
Petrov,
he calls Petrov directly and is like, "Hey, I'm doing this.
Yeah,
do this. I said so. I'm president." If Petrov was like, the news says you're not president anymore, he wouldn't do it. Or do we think he just would have fucking done it? He's ride or die for whatever this,
Yeah, it's
Marshall.
like, you're my boy Harrison Ford. Yeah. That's a good question.
That's the only real material difference, and it doesn't really feel like that big a difference.
Yeah, because like when Glenn Close called him earlier and was like, "We should think about doing this," he was like, "No, I'm not going to do that."
Right.
So it doesn't seem like it was the power of the presidency that convinced him. It was like Harrison Ford convinced him. So I don't really see what difference this makes.
Yeah, because they're buddies. From that time, they did a big raid to get this guy, Raddick.
Mm-hmm. And that time we, tacitly influenced the Russian elections to make sure he won again.
That's important. We should have kept doing that. Look what happened. Got a lot worse.
You really dropped the ball on that one.
So now we have Harrison Ford is in the plane doing secret stuff, jumping around and shit.
He's doing a Die Hard.
Actually, DJ. I think you'll find that what we have here is a case of President Solid Snake.
Oh, sure.
He's doing some Metal Gear Solid bullshit here.
Yeah,
and that's different from Die Hard.
I mean, it's similar, but I just love when we finally find out he wasn't in the pod and he's still on the plane.
Mm-hmm.
The sequence of events that must have happened. Because here's what it is.
Yeah.
They're going down the long hallway in like the bottom of the plane to the escape pod. His two bodyguard guys like push him into the pod and like slam the door as they get shot by guys who are across the hall from them, like direct line of sight down the hall.
Yep.
And then we cut away. And then when we finally cut back after learning that he was not in the pod, we see him crawl down from like a little hole up in the wall, which we must assume he got out of the pod, walked over to that hole and climbed up into it while these Russian terrorists were in full view of him. Because why would they shoot the guys helping the president and leave and then come back?
That's a good point. That's a good point.
And they just didn't notice, which is just like, I mean, he must be the greatest stealth agent to ever live.
Yeah, that's fair.
To make that work.
He did all those flight missions in Vietnam, so that's like really important. It's really important.
He's, like we said, he's very light on his feet, because he it's got to be tough for a 50-year-old man to crawl up to the top of that thing. If he was hiding behind it, like just standing behind it, I'd be like, whatever. But he like shuffles down from being, on top of the big, whatever it is, extra thing that they built into the plane to launch this little pod. He's quite spry.
And then he, once it does some more Metal Gear Solid stuff, he observes the guards like pattern that they walk so that he can run across to a different room in a gap in the patrol.
Dude.
And then he sets off noises to lure one guard away from all the others so that he can knock him out.
That's true.
Yeah.
There's no quintessential Snake right there.
And that's how he gets his first gun, procure on site. Guys, this is a tanker mission.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I'll take your word for it. I've never played a Solid Snake game. But I have played those Arkham games, and I feel like one of these goons needs to
Same
be like,
thing.
"Where's the president? He's in here somewhere." Like, start to get really antsy.
He's
Should
messing
we look- Should we look up at the big gargoyles on Air Force
Yeah.
One? Nah.
The big president shaped hole in the grate. Nah.
You can't hide forever, Prezi. You can't
Yeah.
hide forever.
And then that 1 second of like, all right, back to patrol. Let's go back to whatever they were doing before. I do think the way he sneaks around in this thing is insane. Like, there's so many moments where, like the whole movie for people that haven't seen it, because it's like Air Force One, it's a plane, but it's got all kinds of hallways and shit. Because it's not just like a big empty plane. It's just him on one side of a wall, and then like a split diopter lens, and then another guy on the other side of the wall, and he's just kind of looking over and like looking around. But like, if you get caught doing that once, they're like, "Oh fuck, it's the president." Why would anybody, like, they do that like 8 times, and he's just super lucky that always works for him. But yeah, he's just dancing around and, not getting shot. It's pretty cool. Do you think?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you think you could do this?
No, not in a million years.
Even
Yeah,
Harrison
there's no
Ford
way.
can, though.
What?
Even Harrison Ford, a 50-year-old man, can do it.
Nando, do you think you could beat an Air Force One situation?
I mean,
Oh.
what the work he has to do to kill these guys is so nothing. He just like jumps on him. Like, it's not like a really good fighter, karate or anything like that. He just like kind of gets, tricks them in the way that I would probably try, which is throw a thing and then make a noise and, turn around a corner or whatever. And then just jumps on their back like he's a little koala bear until they die. And I think I'd have trouble near the end, but I think I could get at least one of these guys down. I mean, I definitely get in the pod because it makes sense to do for my country and stuff.
Yeah,
but,
no, it's absolutely insane that he doesn't get in the pod. Like, what did he
Yeah.
think he was going to do?
Guys, his family's on board. What are you
I
talking
know.
about?
Yeah, but in any reasonable scenario, what is one middle-aged man going to do on the plane that he can't do better as president off the plane?
You can't leave your family as hostages. What are you talking about?
I mean, listen, you're the president. That's just what you got to do,
You abandon your family, abandon
Yes.
your wife and only child on the plane.
This
You
is
guys are
why.
crazy.
This is why our current president is the best one. Is because you couldn't get him with this shit.
Yeah.
He would be in the escape pod so fast.
He would be in the escape pod before it started.
Yeah,
He would just be like, a whole flight with my family? No, thank you.
absolutely. This is probably escape pod time, and then. Yeah, that would have every time they took off from Air Force One, it would have to end with them fishing the pod out of like whatever near ocean they flew over, and he got tired of talking to people. But yeah, it's pretty
DJ,
handy.
in this situation, if it's me, I don't see what good me being dead does my family.
You got to go down fighting. I don't know. And but also you're the president. They're not going to kill you, right? They need you, like, to get whatever they want done. They need you.
Well, that's a great reason to not be there, TJ.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's just if you're off that plane, your family's toast. And then what have you done? This.
I mean, you made a sacrifice for the greater good of America. That's
Oh
what
my
you did.
God.
They'll be remembered as heroes, probably, or something. And you just go live your life, man.
They
Get
do
on the
try.
apps. I don't know.
This is an algorithm thing. This is just like an observation. They trolley problem the fuck out of this movie. What are 50 lives against the fate of an entire nation? Ah!
50 lives. Exactly. What is one Radic versus 50 guys? That's like the exchange rate I feel like we're going with here. And I don't know. I feel like if I'm the president, even if I'm really sick in John Wick and stuff, like I guess the way that this works, the way that like Bruce Willis ends up in Die Hard is way more of like he just happens to be there, like he wouldn't leave,
Sure.
but also like he really can't. But like with this, he goes back for some Die Hard stuff. Do you think this president has seen Die Hard? Probably, right?
Yeah.
Not for
That's what he was
10
thinking in
years.
his head. He's like, I'm going to be just
I'm
like
gonna do it.
John McClane.
Yeah. A lot like Die Hard 2, the one on planes and stuff. This is just exactly it.
Yeah, it's like because he's the everyman who has a good old beer and watches good old Michigan football.
College football, yep. And they spoil it for him, which, like, God, so
They
annoying.
can't get a break. Yeah.
Yeah. But also, like, I don't know. The president gets to watch football, I guess. But, like, how much football should he be able to watch, you know? Like, I always wondered about this. When, like, Obama made his brackets, his baseball, but, like, or basketball. I was like, you should not be good enough at this, sir. Like, this is something that takes people their whole job. And you're also the president. And
yeah, I'm sure he made those all by himself.
I was about to say
exactly.
Right?
But well, it's like Elon with this stupid video game that he pretended to be good at.
Oh God.
But I don't know. Maybe he just really loves football, and this is like his one thing, which I get. But I don't know, man. Just take a nap. You're an old man. 50.
He does take a nap.
He does take a nap. Yeah, that's why he's cool. I respect that. I like that part of the movie.
I like when he takes naps.
Took a nap. Yeah, missed the whole movie.
That wasn't even the president or Harrison Ford in character. It was Harrison Ford took a nap and they filmed it.
Yeah, that's what movies are like now.
This is the right at the very beginnings of his sleepy era.
Mm-hmm.
I like the idea of his sleepy era.
Yeah.
He was in it for a long time.
Yeah,
he's out of it now, baby.
Are you sure?
Brian Hulk. Yep, he's
he wakes up
jumping around. I mean, you know, people like him in that Shrinking show, right? That's supposed to be pretty good. I didn't hate him in the Indiana Jones movie he was in that wasn't very good either. But you know,
he was awake in it.
He was okay. Yeah, he seems to be having fun. That's all I can ask for. I mean, if the movie was good, that would be better. But well, you know, as long as Harrison Ford is having fun.
And he did talk about how AI is stupid because a video game voice actor did a good impression of him, and he goes, "Why do you need AI, idiots?"
Yeah, and he did. I haven't played that game, but the impressions and stuff are dead on, like really, really good from the videos I've seen. Neither of you guys have played that, right?
No, I've heard good things.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool. But you know what else is pretty cool? The parts of this movie that are next, which is he shoots a bunch of guys. You know, it's a lot of running around and shooting guys.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good.
I love running around shooting guys.
Does he dump anything?
Oh my God, he dumps the fuel. That's right. Because then they have to land or something. Because that's like sick for them.
They demand, instead of landing, that they get midair refueled.
Yeah, and okay, so this is one of my favorite bits in these movies is when he calls and he's like, "Oh, the president, give me the guys from the, you know, that bit," and then they're like, "Sir, this is a prank." He's got to know what to say, right? Would he not have like a little phrase or something, secret phrase?
Well, he does seem to know. X. He says like, "Trace the goddamn call," like you know his protocol.
To your fucking job.
Yeah, this is the 90s, back when you would have to know numbers, though, you know?
Oh, my God. And he struggles for a little bit. He's like, oh, fuck. God damn it.
Yeah. This is that thing where, like, our modern presidents, and I don't know if this is true of Obama, but definitely on Biden and Trump, like, don't know how to send emails because they just haven't done it. You know, like, they just don't know. They don't interact with technology the same way that, like, I would imagine for Trump or Biden. People hand them cell phones and go, it's the guy you said, you know, like. So
yeah, I was going to say, they know how to send emails. They tell whoever's next to them, send this to that person.
Send this email.
And then they print out the email and hand it to him on a piece of paper. And he's like, oh, yeah, that's my name. But what else was I going to say? I'm also surprised in this movie by how quickly Harrison Ford gets back to all the guys, you know? Like, I kind of expected he would not get back to our main guys until the end of the movie. But, like, halfway through the movie, he's back with the team, and they all have guns, and everybody's kind of working together to stop the terrorists. That's nice.
Including Gibbs.
Yeah, that one guy who the camera keeps zooming in on, and you're like, this must be that guy from before. I forgot what he looked like, but, like, that seems like the camera knows it's him. And William H. Macy is there, too. He gets a gun. He's pretty cool. And yeah, he faxes a secret message because the fax machine.
Nando, actually,
Yeah.
The algorithm just spit out something for us, which was once again, government bureaucracy saves the day.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's the humble government bureaucrat who knows that the fax line is different than the phone line, and they can send cool faxes.
Yep.
And then as they're doing their cool faxing, to be like, hey, tell the refueling plane to be this low so that we can parachute away. She's like, it's an honor to help you, sir. And he's like, our government bureaucrats are our bravest, most precious resource. I love each and every one of you.
He's not wrong. People,
it's one of those things that's funny by contrast.
Yeah.
Right now.
I think it's funny by contrast for that reason, and also that it's a fax machine. It's so funny.
You'd be surprised how much is still done by fax.
Right, and I think. Do you think like a 15-year-old watching this would just go emails? Emails but paper. I get it. It's pretty cool. But I don't know. How many have you guys sent faxes in your lifetimes?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, okay. How many faxes, Diggins? Like a lot or only a couple?
I worked for medical research. The doctors only use faxes. I've used the fax machine a lot.
And DJ, you've never faxed.
I've never faxed. Never
you ever
sent a
wanted
fax
to?
in my life.
You ever been like, oh, would this be cool?
Nah, I don't care to.
It's not substantially different than like using a printer. I'm gonna be honest with you.
All right.
No, it's a different.
Don't feel like I'm missing out then.
Or rather like a copy machine, I should say.
Yeah, it's not like a copy machine, but you also have to have a little paper to go with it. That's like a little extra paper that says, "Hey, here comes a fax." So that's kind of fun.
It's like, oh, so my fax, not some rando's fax.
Mm-hmm.
I will say this scene, a great example of why the deep state is just so integral to the government. What would have James Marshall done?
That's
without the deep state, they all would have died.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You need the deep state.
And what his plan is, and I don't know if we've made this super clear, but yeah, they're gonna do this refueling thing, trick the pilot into flying low enough that they can all jump out of the back of the plane. And they got a lot of them out of the back of the plane. It's pretty good for them.
I think they say 32 or something.
Yeah, and then the rest of them all explode or something.
A couple of them die. A couple of them fall out of the plane with no parachute, so they're dead.
That's right, yeah.
That's fine.
And Harrison Ford almost falls out of the plane. And I don't know about planes, man, but he's got to be pretty damn strong. They're going pretty fast, right? Like a million miles an hour or something. You can't just go like this, But he does that.
A little preview of those Hulk muscles, maybe?
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe the Hulk serum was already working, yeah.
That's true. He's flying around and stuff, being fun. But then the terrorists get him because they're like, all their guys are gone. They capture him. And this is, by this point, Glenn Close, this is the 25th Amendment thing. They gave her a little paper to sign that she has to turn in and makes him not the president anymore. Like we're saying, it's stupid that she's not doing it, but whatever. Also, another actor who is an insane cameo for me here. Did you recognize anybody in her room that was like a guy?
I did not.
Diggins, did you? I don't think either of you would necessarily, based on things I feel like I know we have all watched. Although I think he's a pretty well-known character actor outside of the one thing that everyone knows him from. But Philip Baker Hall is the Attorney General who comes in later in the game.
Oh, yeah.
Very famously, Bookman from Seinfeld, the evil library cop guy who comes and grills Jerry about a book from a million years ago. He died recently, and he's in a lot of stuff. I don't know what most people know him from, but I feel like for a lot of people, it's probably that Seinfeld episode. So good to have him in here. Sad he died, but he's a bad guy in this. So
good.
Not a bad guy.
Is he a bad guy?
I don't know. Yeah. What do you think? These guys, is this a power grab for these guys? That's what Glenn Close seems to treat it as.
This guy's just the Attorney General, right?
It's like the opposite of a power grab because the defense attorney, the defense secretary is arguing well, as long as he's not here, I'm in charge of this, not her. but he's like, but for this, he's like, all right, so you're going to sign this and now you'll be in charge and not me. So like, it actually, it's not a power grab at all. It just seems to be a thing he thinks should happen.
Yeah. And it's good that
it's like an, oh, go ahead, Nando. Sorry.
I mean, I feel like it's a good representation of government because no one respects the vice presidency in this movie, but
they literally say it like the one.
It doesn't help
like,
that she's like a woman as well, because I don't think that helps her get extra respect. But also, I feel like this is how they would have treated, this is how they must treat JD Vance today. I mean, but it's Elon coming in and overruling everyone, but that you wouldn't even think to ask JD. What's JD Vance's name? Like what does the JD stand for?
Jorkin de Penis.
Johnny Depp? Jorkin de Penis? Yeah.
Jorkin de Penis. Yeah, that's
Jorkin
it.
de Penis.
I feel like we should know this, right? It's not even fun. But what was I going to say? What were you going to say, DJ?
I don't remember.
How dare
it's
you?
totally fine.
How dare
it's
you?
Totally fine. No, I'll probably remember in like 5 minutes or whatever. But
all right.
Yeah.
Well,
continue.
shockingly, the movie is like almost over. A lot of stuff happens. There's a lot of like scenes, but I feel like we've gotten through most of the action of the movie. They're going to release Radek in a scene that I think is so funny because, like I said, he's in the most evil jail ever, and it's like all the guys from this, I guess, prison state or whatever, like all the Russian communist dissidents.
Yeah, because when they're releasing Radek, they all start singing the Internationale in Russian. Yep. It's so funny.
He's the people's champ, and yeah, they just let him go, and it's like, let Radek leave, and we'll all just be fucked because he's gonna leave and go back to taking over the world. And you want to describe the scene? Can someone describe the scene with Radek? The end of that bit, because I think that is just the craziest thing.
Yeah.
Considering like what happens. And I mean, I can explain it. Yeah, basically, they just kill all the guys.
You can.
Oh yeah, you could do it, Diggins.
Well, because so he's like walking out. He gets his military uniform back on. There's a helicopter waiting for him with his guys as he's just smiling, all smug and like strutting over to his helicopter. And then Harrison Ford, who has, I guess we'll describe exactly what in a minute, but
yeah,
he beat up all the guys, and he did Gary Oldman's not there anymore, so he runs back to be like, no, Russian president, don't let Radek go, you don't have to anymore. And so instead of like the guards running out and being like, never mind, you're back under arrest,
yeah,
they just like put the spotlight on him and are like, all right, execution time. And they just fill him full of lead.
They get this guy, man. They get him good. And like, I don't know.
There is no attempt to reapprehend him. It's just straight murder.
Yeah. It's not quite a situation where like, he's not quite an Osama bin Laden type, let's say. But if you want to compare it to something in our American government, it's just like the fact that he goes from being in jail, like, or being free in the beginning of the movie to immediately caught, put in jail. And then they're like, you're free. And he's like, oh, sick. And then he goes outside and they shoot him. What an awful couple of days for this guy. Like, and yeah.
Yeah, I mean.
Communist, so obviously evil and bad. But like, man,
obviously.
He thought he had it.
It really feels like they were never going to let him go. And this was always the plan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like Net is a really, this is a, you see like Air Force One happen, get kidnapped, and you're like, wow, this is a disaster. But then, no, this is a disaster-tunity, you guys. We can use this to kill Radek. We kind of play everything right if we get the timing down. And the timing down bit is that Harrison Ford is captured. So Gary Oldman and I think even Ditkovich is dead by this point. But most of Gary Oldman's guys are dead. And it's Harrison Ford, his wife, and his daughter. And Gary Oldman's doing Gary Oldman villainy stuff. I don't remember at what point he does this, but he gives a speech about, I have daughters and sons and I have to do terrorism for them or something. Is it wrong that you don't do terrorism to the little girl? And she's like, my daddy's the president. I don't really remember what happened in that, but that's probably what it was. Because this is, they don't really care. about making any points. But then Harrison Ford, who has been this whole time sawing his little masking tape handcuffs off with a little piece of glass, manages to wrap Gary Oldman in like a piece of netting or like a seatbelt or something. And Gary Oldman has a parachute on, and then he pulls the parachute, and Gary Oldman gets neck snapped and then dies. Pretty cool death. And
what does he
because
say
of that,
right before he does that?
Oh my God, I can't even remember. It's probably like, "Not good job, you, Gary Oldman. Leave immediately from this." And then that's all you need, baby. Now, I mean, hey, was this one of those things where you had heard this line a million times before you saw the movie?
Oh yeah, I knew this line existed.
Yeah, and I think I had seen it on like Fairly Odd Parents and shit. Like it got parodied to death because it was so memorable. What about you, DJ? How did you first encounter this line?
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, in the movie, but like I had forgotten about it, and then I think like it got played back as like a soundbite on like a radio show or podcast I listened to. If that's does that sound crazy? But I mean,
we've got a lot of planes in the news recently. Probably not in this exact scenario, but
I'm going back like 10 years though. But like I don't know,
okay.
Like
was that podcast Mad Bracket Status when they did a best fictional president bracket?
We did do that.
Oh my gosh, maybe. But like, yeah, I'm like, I think they would just like randomly play like "Get off my plate," like and it stuck with me. So yeah,
it's pretty good. I feel like in terms of movies where the line is the whole movie, this might be number one. You know, like most movies, the movie is better than just that one line you remember. But in this, it's like you could watch that one line and get the whole thing. I would recommend people do it. It's about an hour and 31 minutes or 39 minutes into the movie.
Well, I think it's like an hour 30. There's a lot of movie left, actually.
Well, yeah, and you get to see Gary Oldman neck snap, which also, you know, fun. But yeah, like we're saying, there's so much more stuff because the plane's still fucked.
Yeah, that's true. This plane has been ravaged,
and unknown to everybody else, the bad guy is still one of the Secret Service guys is still bad. So they call him and they're like, "Here's what you got to do to be sweet and get home." But then, and he's like a fighter pilot, so he can do this kind of. And they're gonna have to land the plane. But then, as things get, why does it explode again? Does it just like explode?
Well, because a military base in Kazakhstan controlled by Radek loyalists sends a bunch of MiGs.
Oh my God, I forgot about all that. Yeah, there's a fucking fight. Oh my God. Yeah. And our boys in blue have to be scrambled or something from, or not boys in blue, boys in planes. Have to be scrambled from a different place and jump fuel to go supersonic, and they get there just in time.
And actually, hold on there, Nando. Tick 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 tick. Well, I've got a something from the algorithm here. It says, "Get down, Mr. President," which is the funniest execution of the person diving to protect the president I think that has ever existed in any movie. Which is that they run out of countermeasures like flares and stuff to throw off missiles from from like fighter jets, and so one of the MiGs is bearing down on Air Force One and is shooting off a missile that's going to hit them and blow up the plane.
Oh my God!
One of the F-15s is like, "There's still one countermeasure left," and zooms in the path of the missile and like doesn't just like hit it, like crash into it head on, like curves up like it's diving in front of Air Force One and gets hit.
It like T-bones the missile. It's crazy.
It's so funny.
You have to imagine there were other options here, right? Like, I don't know.
What about your anti-missile countermeasures?
Yeah. Do you have flares, sir?
I mean,
it is funny because like the visual, it's like, right, it's like, could he have taken the missile head on and like ejected out or something like that? But no, it's like as if diving in front of a person, the plane is diving in front of Air Force One with such a silly visual.
It rules.
God damn, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. And that's just what you got to do, you know? I mean, they probably don't do that in pilot school. He's like, here's how your pilot.
Yeah, I'll tell you that one.
You're gonna have to take a missile for the president's plane one of these days, because that's got to be so hard to time. I guess they're heat seeking, maybe. So maybe if you get in front of them, it's easy.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I don't know, man. You're flying, they're flying. It's all over the place. The missile's doing its own thing. It's got to be tough. But you know, it's a fun scene, I guess. I don't know. Top Gun was pretty popular, wasn't it? So
yeah, it was.
Need to do a little bit of Top Gun. And they do. And then they're like, by the way, the whole plane's even more fucked because, like we're saying, like, big explosion destroys the rudder and stuff, all the stuff you're gonna need to land. So the pilot's basically like, sorry, Mr. President. He salutes the president. And the president salutes him.
You're gonna die. You and your family are gonna crash this plane. You're gonna die.
We had fun, didn't we? Doing all my stuff. Tell them I said get off my plane. I'm a real big fan of that. But they have a rescue mission. Wow. And they can't do this, right? Like, or is this a thing? Could you conceivably do this? Right? Okay.
No.
I mean, what's stopping you? You know?
What's stopping you? You probably couldn't keep planes at like the right distance, like for that amount of time. I have to imagine, right?
Not
they
for
just
a guy
act
to
like
just climb down the plane.
Yeah, they act like the planes are just like static bodies that are just like,
Yeah.
all right, hold. Like, there's no way.
I mean, they can refuel though, right? Like, it's kind of the same
refueling
principle.
It's a little. I feel like it's a little different than like fucking zip lining from one plane to another, right? Like, is the force of that zip line strong enough for like however strong the winds would be? That I don't know. I don't know.
They got the best presidential zip lines, so
never better.
I don't know. Even the guys on the president's, like, the president has guys that he has to send over via zip line. Even the guys that come on the zip line from the other, like the military plane, look like they're not having fun. Like, this looks terrifying, and they're just like,
my gosh, yeah.
So I don't know. This is, again, things they train you for in, you know, pilot school, but you really don't take that day seriously because you're like, what are the odds? But
Never.
It's a whole big. Oh my God, that's the thing. Yeah, that's why this doesn't matter to him. He's odds. They're his kryptonite.
He's
but
odds gnostic.
Very good. So then everybody has to go. The president makes sure everybody goes last he goes last because he's such a great brave hero. But the guy who we already forgot about, but he's still there, shoots William H. Macy, and it's like, that guy. And you know, that's great for him.
He's like, I'm gonna be the one who lives through this instead of you, and then I'll be okay, and I'll get to be a Secret Service agent still. And Harrison Ford's not like, but should be. I think they're gonna have some questions about this, actually.
Yeah. But then he kind of gets everything going real quick, and they have like a big fight. He manages to hook himself on because it's like a carabiner kind of situation. As the line kind of snaps because the plane is Air Force One is just fucked and it's about to hit the water. We had to watch this bit a couple of times because of how funny it is when the guy who stays on the plane, he's like in the doorway of the plane and he kind of has a moment where he goes like, oh no, and then the whole thing explodes.
It is also the worst effect in the movie.
Yeah, there's that.
Dude.
And there's a pretty rough fire effect a little bit earlier. The bit where Harrison Ford is hanging out in front of a big fire. But this is much worse, yeah, for sure. It's tough because it's the end of the movie, and I think before this, most of the pilot stuff has just been like the plane stuff has just been planes, so it looks pretty good. Yeah, and then at the very end of the movie, I'm gonna just the algorithm tick 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 tap beep 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 beep. I'm very sorry the president died. He is being whipped around at plane speed on this little line thingy, and he's 50 and he just barely got on. They ring him in the thing because they got a little hook or whatever, and they get him in, and we don't know if he's alive or not. And then everybody's holding their hands, and there's like guys with little candles outside of the White House, and the guys on the pilot, like the plane, are like, we have to change the call sign. This plane is now Air Force One. And I'm like, no, he died. Like, that'd be a much sadder call as like, this plane is now Hearst One or whatever we'd call it. But yeah, his neck broke a lot because all his bones are broken. Turns out you can't just water ski a president through the air like that, even if it's a really good harness. But
I mean,
you can.
You're right.
I mean, it's like, and it's not even just that because I watching this the first time, because I had seen this before. I kind of remembered that he makes it just at the end, but I forgot that the thing whips off and he just really does flail around there for a while. And they have Harrison Ford there just like hanging on. And it's like, I don't know, man. He's had a pretty rough day, but also he's just
Why wouldn't he just fly off? Doesn't that seem like what would happen?
Now is what would happen. That's what happened in real life when they tried it, but they were like, we shouldn't. Got to change the ending for the movie so it'll be more wholesome and he can hug his family and stuff. And do you guys remember what Glenn Close does?
She tears up the 25th Amendment paper.
Keep the paper. It's interesting. You know, I want to have it for the documents and stuff, but whatever. Everybody gives her thumbs ups. Everybody's proud of her now. And they killed Radek. We can't forget that. So it's big for everybody. And then the movie ends, and that's Air Force One.
I also cannot emphasize enough. The movie just ends. And remember, it's like what was the big announcement? Was it like Liberty 42 has a new call sign? We are now Air Force One, because Air Force One is the plane the president's on. I think we talked about this previously. But then the movie ends, right?
Mm-hmm.
The United States might be going to fucking war. Right, like the fallout from this is probably incredible.
But like with Kazakhstan, I think we're gonna win.
That's true. Yeah. Plus, when they hear what we did to Radek, they're gonna get right in line. I think. They staged.
Yeah, I think the U.S. was already going to war with Kazakhstan when we, invaded their country and arrested their leader.
Yeah. If anything,
I mean, Nando.
I feel like we've got a lot of stuff to do as a country to fix Air Force One, and maybe no more presidents for a while is maybe what I would say. Because look at how tough that was. You know, he almost got stolen. Then we had to have a little fight. Like, can you imagine the next day going in and being like, "I'm sorry, you told Glenn Close that she couldn't be vice president. What happened there, buddy? Did you forget that she's vice president? Like." I would, there would be hell to pay no matter how many thumbs up you gave her. But yeah, I don't know. Do you think not Russell Crowe, Harrison Ford would do you think this would change his politics at all? Or would he be like, I'm indestructible, let's go fucking get everybody?
I think it's that one. Yeah. Also,
I think he would turn into John Travolta in Swordfish.
Oh my God.
We're gonna murder all the get me Gary Oldman's wife and children. We're gonna murder them live on TV.
Also,
yeah,
he's winning that election in November.
Oh yeah,
100%.
Like that is a slam dunk.
I mean, I might vote for him, and I don't think I agree with his politics, but I'm a sucker for presidents that got whipped around by the airplane. Also, I feel like it would be pretty hard for him to explain the end part to us. Because all the stuff that happened on the plane is pretty unbelievable, but it's what happened on the plane. We saw it, and there's lots of witnesses. Then the last part is like, hey, what happened to the general guy and the other guy that was there? Okay, so he was bad the whole time, and he shot the other guy, and then he tried to shoot me. It was fucking insane. I just barely got out of there. You'd be like, oh man, those two guys both had secrets, and you just told them to die, right? Yeah, that's what happened. But no, it's it's an even more exciting ending than you could believe. Also, he has to get a whole bunch of new guys, He has to get a lot of new cabinet guys after this. That'd be fun, I guess. Like, fun for him. Because he'd be like, what would you do in an Air Force One? Would you sell me out like that one Pinhead did? Because we don't need any more of that. We already got that guy. I don't know. But yeah, it's a great movie. Kind of.
It's fun. Like it enough, yeah.
I'm with it. Do you think, would you just vote for a blank kind of slate Harrison Ford president? Like, do you think it would work on you? Forget about his politics, but just like, would you see him and go like, I feel safe? Or would you be like, this guy's got some problems?
I mean, I would want to know what his policies were.
Why? It's president stuff. What's he gonna do?
Seems cool.
He's a D or an R, baby. That's all I care about.
You know, I hate to do this, but you look like you could have a beer with him. He likes football. He smooshes his wife.
Oh, I don't know if you would like to have a beer with me, actually.
That's been an awful indicator.
Mm-hmm. And also, like, I don't know. I feel like I would have a beer with him and he'd be like, keep your fucking mouth shut. And I'd be like, all right, sir. You know? He doesn't seem like he'd be fun. Sir, have you seen Star Wars? I don't fucking watch the Star Wars movie. God damn it. You know? No fun. Also, all anybody would want to talk about with him anymore is this. You know? Like, his whole presidency. It doesn't matter if he invented a fucking flying car. Nobody gives a shit. So that would be a hard election to run against him. But I do think, you know, I don't know. Yeah, I think we just give up. I think, like, if there was an opposition party, I think they'd just sit that year out. You know, not why waste somebody on losing to the president that killed all the terrorists and Radek. I don't know.
And gave a speech about how we're going to murder all the terrorists' families.
Yeah. And yeah, I don't know. Do you think, my other question with this was, so he's going to be president in the Captain America verse. Mm-hmm. Which do you think is less plausible? Him being like the Red Hulk or all the shit that happens in this? Like, what I mean is, assuming in the world where Red Hulks are a thing, and without knowing all the details of how you get a Red Hulk, do you think you, in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, would be more surprised that the president became a Red Hulk, or in the universe of Air Force One, be more surprised that Air Force One got kidnapped and the president killed all the bad guys and escaped? You know what I mean? Like, is this more implausible in that universe than Red Hulk?
I think I would be more surprised in the Air Force One universe, because the Air Force One universe seems like our universe, but but a little sillier, maybe. Mm-hmm. But like the Marvel universe, like presidents have already, I think there's been multiple presidents have had superhero shit happen with them.
Yeah.
So I'd be like, oh, fuck, another fucking superhero president bullshit, whatever.
Yeah, you have superhero anymore. President fatigue. God, can we just get a normal president? But yeah, that is, I mean, that's kind of the reaction some of the characters in the movie have. And we'll get to it, but I get it. Yeah, Air Force One, wow. Pretty cool. Well, you guys, you want to get to our classic segment?
Yeah.
I would love that.
Let's recommend some stuff to the fine people. DJ, what do you have to recommend to the people?
Well, I obviously have something cool and awesome to recommend to the people.
Better not be a new episode of The Floor or something. I don't know what happened. You said The Floor too many times around my phone, in Hannah's phone, because now it's giving us floor clips as our ads. Seen The Floor this week than I think I've ever wanted to. It looks so boring. It doesn't work well in ads, I guess is really what I'm saying.
What? Well, they're going bunny, barn, dandelion, butter.
It looks like a game show that would be in the background of like Idiocracy or something.
I said like, this when I
Jeopardy
first
really got worse. Oh, did you? Okay, yeah, it's that. It's like
did.
I imagine, like you were saying, there's people who are doing like kind of hard stuff, but that never makes it into the ads. It's just like orange, pear. It's like, buddy, we got it. We too much of that raw milk. Broke our brains.
So Nando, the new season did start, premiered after the Super Bowl. So we do have a new season this year. And Nando, one of the categories that a contestant brought, you ready for it?
Celebrity penises.
Marvel.
Oh man, I was hoping they did mine. With my classic
Marvel
Gambit.
Celebrity penises. Yeah.
Oh,
wow. Well, I know Sebastian Stan's now.
Yeah, we got Sebastian Stan. We've got. I mean, I think Chris Evans like leaked a dick pic once, right? That was something I think that happened by accident, I think, because he was like showing someone his camera roll and there's just a dick pic in there, which sure, that's what happened, Chris Evans.
Robert Downey Jr. is probably out there. The 90s and 2000s were wild for him.
Has Chris Hemsworth dropped trout?
Hemsworth's probably out there. Yeah, it's probably out there.
But he's dropped trout in movie is what we're asking.
Yeah, I think he's taken off his pants in real life, but just in terms of the movies. I mean, we saw his butt in that Thor movie, so
it's true.
Yeah, and if they weren't cowards, we would have seen it then.
Yeah, we didn't get the Russell Crowe cut, but the cut from Russell Crowe's angle where he gets a good look at the Thor peen would maybe give a different angle. What other actors? Jeremy Renner, probably not. I bet Oscar Isaac. He seems like a guy who's done it, who's hung dong.
Yeah, I think so.
J.K. Simmons.
Oh, I mean, in the Saturday Night Movie. I mean, it's probably not his real penis, but you do see a penis on him. I would recognize it just from the framing of Saturday Night alone. So that would be great for the floor. Harrison Ford, he just came into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Don't know about him yet. Probably not. But that's a bunch of them right there. How many things do you have to bring? Do you have to bring like 8 things? You know, like
what do you?
Well, they come up with the things, right? You just give them a category,
right? Yep. But you can't bring like, you know, Brady Bunch children or something to it, right? Like it has to be something with like more than 7 guys. So
right, because I joked about this. I'm like, could I do American Black presidents?
Yeah,
could that be?
And then so that's why Marvel celebrity penises might be kind of limiting. But celebrity penises is different. But one guy has Marvel, just like Marvel stuff, just whatever.
Yep, Marvel. That's his category. Yeah.
Did he win yet, or
no? We haven't seen it yet. But we'll see. We'll see.
Who's got the worst category?
Actually, will say, what's up?
Who has the worst category? The one that's either the easiest to beat or the most esoteric.
Yeah, someone has like European geography.
Well, that's easy.
For you, baby. That one's gonna fuck me pretty bad. I'll get back to you. But
God, like if they just, you would never lose though, right? Like if they gave you Marvel and like you just win the whole thing. How could you lose it? You'd have to get challenged to somebody else's door or whatever floor.
Well, like okay,
right?
So
each one can only happen once, right? Because like once it's used, it goes away.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
So the way it works is the floor randomly. So I'm wrecking the floor now. The floor is what we're talking about because I didn't bring anything else for show and tell, and a new season did start. So the randomizer randomly picks someone in the 10x10 grid to go. They must challenge someone adjacent to them in their like the person they're challenging. It's their category. So you get screwed if like you're good in your category, but you can't beat another guy. But if you do beat another guy, you get to keep your category with your piece of floor. So that's kind of the like game.
So people have to beat, but then so you would have your category, like if your category gets, you would only use it once, or
yeah, it only gets used once.
What if people attack you from multiple angles or something?
If you challenge a guy and that guy beats you, he gets your category.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then if you beat someone, you get their category.
Ugh.
So you're just like trading categories the whole time. So the guy who won last season, he basically won because he got selected. He had to challenge someone. He beat him. His category was like periodic table, and no one challenged him the whole season because he's like, no one can beat me in periodic table. Someone eventually challenges him. They lose. He beats him in periodic table, and then he only had to win like one more battle to win the whole thing. It was
what
nuts.
was his category they had to win the whole thing?
I can't remember. It was like something with literature or something.
So it's a really gripping and memorable game, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, it sounds pretty cool.
You are deleting brain cells as you watch it. It really does feel like it's from Idiocracy. Like, because there was one. So they had one on the most recent episode. Spoilers to the floor, where they had one of like the actors from Clerks on.
Yes, I saw that. The main guy from Clerks. Yeah,
the main guy from Clerks, and his category, and he's wearing like a Rangers jersey with all of the logos removed. It's so weird. I can't describe it, but his was convenience store items, and they're just going back and forth naming the various convenience store items. And then to your point, like no one's missing a beat until the one woman like freezes on like taquito, and then like that's it, she like loses.
Damn.
So it's
and
like
they don't fall through the floor into a big pit of something, right?
Oh, that would be great. I like that. No
spikes or acid or something.
Yeah.
Rob Lowe just like smacks you on the back of the head. Although I will say Rob Lowe better this season. Much better this season.
As a human being or as a game show host?
as a game show host.
That's great.
I think I had this conversation with Discord. From my understanding, bad human, okay game show host is my understanding. Yeah.
Okay.
So that is, I mean, I feel bad. I don't feel bad. I feel bad, but I didn't have a lot to, I don't want to give away gambling advice again. That seems like a bad idea. So we're just gonna go with the floor because there's new floor, guys. We'll watch some new floor. Just catch up.
Wow.
You watch new floor.
That's
also,
great.
new season of Next Level Chef because Fox is just killing it. But I don't know if I'm gonna watch this one because I kind of got bored of Next Level Chef. I'm floor pilled now. I'm kind of.
What about Love Is Blind? That comes back soon, right?
Yo, it does. So yeah, it'll definitely be what I'm talking about next week.
Mm-hmm. Very excited.
So yeah. Diggins, what about you?
Well, I watched a couple movies this week. First, I saw a new movie starring our very own Sophie Thatcher, who was in last year's Heretic, and now is in this year's Companion.
Oh. Cool. Was it good?
I really liked it, yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
So Companion is a movie where I don't want to say too much about it because, the first twist that is, depending on what marketing you see, is kind of spoiled already, but I'm going to avoid saying even that much. But don't worry about it too much if you do know what that first twist is. I knew going in, and it doesn't matter if you know it that much or not. So essentially, a woman played by Sophie Thatcher is going to a mansion out in the wilderness with her boyfriend and a bunch of his friends. And she's kind of nervous. She wants to impress them. And he's not an amazing boyfriend, but he's fine.
This is Jack Quaid's character, right?
Yes, Jack Quaid. This is Jack Quaid as the boyfriend.
I feel like that's kind of how you could describe Jack Quaid in most movies. He's not an amazing guy, but he's okay. You're like, this is an above average guy in this universe.
I'd say average guy.
Okay. Not even because he's tall? He's pretty tall.
Maybe the tallness makes him better. That's true.
Yeah.
But so they get there and things get a little crazy, and that's all I'm gonna say. It's a thriller. It's like I said, it's got a lot of twists that happen in it, but I think it's the good kind where it's the twists just sort of deepen your understanding of what's already happening and aren't once you know them, it's well, then there's nothing here.
Right.
So if you go back and watch it again and knowing all the twists already, it's okay, so that's what was happening here. It's just really well structured. I think Sophie Thatcher is really fun in it. I think she does a great performance. Jack Quaid also really great as a guy who sucks.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really enjoyed that. I think it is well worth seeing. So I really hope Sophie Thatcher is becoming one of our new Scream Queens.
Well, I mean, she is in Yellow Jackets, right? I was going to say.
Yes, that's where I first knew her from. She's great in Yellow Jackets, too.
And she's, according to IMDb's front page, she's 4 years old. Wow. She's really getting up there.
Wow.
Yeah, and Joseph Quinn is 3, and Brie Lauer is 2. So,
incredible.
Babies. Hollywood babies.
Second movie I have to rec is the third installment in the world's slowest Michael Mann retrospective.
Oh.
I watched Manhunter, the first cinematic adaptation of a Hannibal Lecter novel.
Oh, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm. And you know who plays Hannibal Lecter in this one?
I just looked it up, but yeah, that's cool.
Everyone's favorite dad, Brian Cox.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Interesting, because he's like Anthony Hopkins, they're very similar.
It's a very different performance, I'll say. He's doing a very different thing. Also, Hannibal Lecter is barely in this movie. It's really more about Will Graham. But yeah, so it's very different from all the other Hannibal Lecter movies. I think it's more of a police procedural sort of thing, about the police work they're doing, and less about I mean, there's psychological aspects to it, but it's not like gothic horror psychological thing like Silence of the Lambs is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I said, it's mostly about Will Graham hunting a new serial killer. He sort of like comes out of retirement for it after catching Hannibal messed him all up. And sort of like, you know, falling into that same sort of like mindset and, you know, it messing with his head as he's trying to catch this new guy. But the whole thing is like very stylized. Like Michael Mann was just coming off Miami Vice, like the TV show which he worked on. So it has a lot of that like very very saturated colors, like this heavy synth soundtrack. But the movie itself is also like the plot and the events and everything. It's all very interesting. And I think kind of like moody and like vibey in a way that I enjoyed. It felt like a good marriage of like the like tight plot of Thief and the like vibes of The Keep. So, you know, he's getting better at it as I go through his filmography. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
So, you know, maybe in the next 5 months or so, I'll watch the 4th Michael Mann movie. Who can say?
When do they become like the ones people have seen? Right? Because like, I guess this one's probably...
This one's pretty famous now.
Yeah.
The next one's Last of the Mohicans, which is a famous movie, but not necessarily a famous Michael Mann movie.
Yeah.
And then after that is Heat, which is...
Okay.
That's like the Michael Mann movie is Heat.
You got to see that because Heat 2's coming soon. They're working on it.
Wow.
Yeah. It's got Austin Butler or something. So, you know, pretty cool.
I guess we'll find out. But those are my recs. What about you, Nando?
I'm mostly been watching a lot of TV this week. I mean, yes, a lot of Joey. I'm quite ahead on Joey, which is why it makes it a little tricky to recap them episodes I watched 5-6 episodes ago. But I do think, you know, we're in a great place for Severance right now, which obviously is like the hot shit. White Lotus has not come out yet. I'm looking forward to it. Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, that show is actually really good. And I think it's like not quite the X-Men 97 of...
Not annoying or woke?
No, annoying is a different story. I guess that's up to interpretation. I would say woke is pretty hard to... It would be pretty hard to call it not woke. Especially considering, well, no, yeah, I would say I wouldn't say it gets more woke than it was before. I do think this episode, because they release them in flights, like it's like first 2 I think were the first week, and then the next 3 episodes a week after that, 3 episodes a week after that, and then the last 2 have not been released yet, but those are 1 week. So this flight of 3 episodes, crazy cameos in terms of like characters and also in terms of actors playing certain characters. So, and by crazy, I don't mean like unbelievable, but crazy, like just satisfying, just really good. And in a very fun way. I also think it's just I think it is kind of 2 X-Men 97. Like it's that, except kind of way X-Men 97 was like a greatest hits of the 2000 X-Men stories. This is a way more focused kind of almost what if Civil War and like Homecoming played out differently, where Spider-Man did Spider-Man shit instead of Avengers shit. So for that reason, it's pretty fun. And also, yeah, the Dr. Octopus universe is pretty cool. I'm surprised by what they decided to do with him in terms of just make him a weird dork, but like a fun dork. So I like him a lot. Anyway, that show is great. Speaking of that show, the other show that Spider-Man was on kind of briefly, if you count whatever they called him on that, was Invincible. Did a little Spider-Man cameo there. That one's back. Not the Spider-Man bit isn't, but the show. And there were 4 episodes I think have been released by this point, and it's still great. You know, I think it's very, very good. It's, you know, twisty and stuff, so try to stay away from that. But we got a revelation this week that I knew was coming because I'm vaguely aware of some plot points, but I'm glad that we got it because it does change a lot of the direction of what's going on. So I think that's cool. Also, some of the voice actors for the season have been fun. This episode, we got a lot of the Joel Maridueña from Blue Beetle. And yeah, it's just a good show. Only other thing, I don't think I wrecked this last week. I might have. And I'm not wrecking it because like and we've already talked about it and like said it's good, but I finally got around to watching I saw the TV Glow movie. It's a very good movie. It's not, you know what, it's not. I do think the trailer oversold me on the horror aspect of it. In terms of
it's
like,
not a very scary movie, no.
No, and you know the bit with like they show that bit in the trailer with like the ice cream man and stuff, and you're like, oh, is this gonna be like, you know, you keep revisiting the pink opaque world, and it's like this is the new freak of the week, and because some of them could be quite scary, but they don't do that as much as you'd expect. And again, like Diggins, I think you said, just insane to see Fred Durst back, and with such you know, like esteem. He was in that Y2K movie, and then he's in this, and I don't know why he's having a year, but yeah, it's very good. I didn't really look up any of the actors besides the main guy.
Fred Durst, he just keeps rolling.
He does keep rolling. He's yeah, and you know what? Based on the way culture's going, maybe he'll be back. You know, maybe we're just gonna do regular Fred Durst again. Maybe like MTV Spring Break. It feels like what we're in the mood for. So yeah, that's a very good movie. And it's cool and it's weird. Like it's very I would say maybe unpredictable. Like obviously the metaphor and stuff is pretty, you figure it out pretty quickly if you pay attention, but also it's
and also
but like it's explored in interesting ways.
Doesn't want to see it.
Yeah, and I don't think someone could get to the end and then have I don't think someone could get to the end and have their mind change, but I do think within a couple minutes someone who is against that stuff would be like, wait a second, these are all those flags I hate. I'm not doing this. But yeah, it's a cool movie. I'm not know why it didn't get more attention from the Oscars and stuff, because I don't know, just seems like a movie that would, but like people like it more than other movies that got attention from the Oscars. So I guess there's that. Oh, and the thing that really sold me, Conor O'Malley's in it, which I think I knew going in, but my goodness, what a funny little guy he is.
He's one of the coworkers, right?
Yeah, he's the one who's like, I forget what he says, but we see him getting the Dan Aykroyd special at one point. It's pretty good. Yeah. Hey-o. And he's in the new, speaking of things that I can't recommend yet, but I'm sure I will, the Tim Robinson movie that's coming out soon. He's in the trailer for that, Friendship, which looks very fun. So anyway, yeah, those are my recs. I feel like I probably have 2 or 3 others, but I can't remember what they are. So I'm just going to go with those. Oh, you know what comic I'm reading? Avengers Twilight, by Chip Zdarsky and Daniel Acuna. This is a story that's kind of like The Dark Knight Returns and kind of like what was the other one we were talking about before? What's the other one? Kingdom Come, but for Marvel, where Steve Rogers comes out of retirement and is an old man and stuff. It's pretty cool. I like it. It's the book we're doing for book clubs. I haven't finished it, but I'm into it. So this is my the comic that I'm currently working through. What are we doing next week, guys?
Oh man, it's time.
It's time, baby.
Happy Valentine's Day.
That's right. It's time for Johnny Stacchino.
No,
I wouldn't mind.
What if we did though? That would be funny.
I wouldn't mind.
I think I'd still hate it, but it would be interesting to do it. See people get all mad and stuff. Yeah, I mean, barring Johnny Stacchino excitement, maybe we'll do the Captain America movie, the new Marvel, as they say in the. Have you guys watched the trailer for the Conor O'Malley movie or the Tim Robinson movie, Friendship?
No. I should.
Oh, I mean, you shouldn't, because just watch the movie. It's going to be great. But yeah, at one point he says there's a new Marvel out, and I hear it's wild. And that's all I can think of every time I see a trailer for this. But yeah, so maybe we'll do that probably. DJ, do you have anything to plug?
Check out Roses and Rejections. Latest pod. We talk about this abysmal Bachelor season that we're only 3 episodes into.
Yeah.
And the news that this year apparently ABC's gonna not have a Bachelorette season. So
Oh, they weren't going woke anymore. Yeah.
I guess it's too woke. I don't know.
Do you think they filmed one and something terrible happened or something?
I don't know.
Because it implies that men should have to compete for the woman's affection, which is just not proper.
Oh, okay. And anyway, so we talk about that news, but we also talk some traders, which is good, and soon we'll have Love Is Blind to talk about, so that should be good as well.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Diggins, what about you? Anything to plug?
Nope. What about you, Nando?
Videos and stuff. I actually put out my on Nebula. There's my what's going on with the Pet Avengers video, which I didn't time with Captain America, but is kind of Captain America related. And then besides that, just a bazillion videos about stuff, like a bunch of Nando Cup videos I've been working on just came out. So like I had one about the new Batman Arkham game that they made for the Meta VR, whatever the fuck it is, and why it's an amazing Batman game that absolutely no one should buy, but it's pretty cool. And then I've been doing like recaps of the Spider-Man game or the Spider-Man show, which I genuinely do think is very good. Oh, and we've done some X-Men casting rumors because those have come out. So like the rumors are not Sophie Turner, excuse me, Jesus. What is her name?
Back.
I know, right? It's the same kind of thing though, where it's like a redhead that from a TV show. It's the one from Stranger Things, might be Jean Grey, and then Harris Dixon might be Cyclops, and I don't buy either of them, but they'd be interesting, wouldn't they? So yeah, those are videos. You can watch those on the Nando Cut on YouTube, and then Nando V Movies on YouTube, and then all that stuff on Nebula as well. Until next week, I've been at Nando V Movies on Bluesky. I'm at Zippy by Day on Bluesky.
I'm at C Diggins on Bluesky.
Ooh, that's good. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. Woohoo!
See ya.
Bye.